That tiger looks ready. This tiger is ready. Are you ready for some football?
The San Diego Chargers linebacker Junior Seau may well be the perfect football player. An elite defensive force of strength, speed, size, and smarts. An opposing player with a football may not hear the credo of Junior Seau, but he'll surely feel it.
Thou shalt not come across me. Thou shalt not be departed. Thou shalt not run from me.
No player in the game today is more valuable to his team than Junior Seau. He has been voted to 5 consecutive Pro Bowls. Indifferent play by others around him will not be tolerated by this proud warrior. His style is purely lead by example. For 7 years, he has played in the crucible of the action of this fast and violent game. So pay attention, because to watch him play is to see the linebacker position played to the max. Junior Seau will perform in the primetime spotlight tonight as the Oakland Raiders face the San Diego Chargers on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Stand by, San Diego.
Well, it's Monday night and we're ready to strike. Our special forces are in full flight. Division rivals square off toe-to-toe. Oakland invades San Diego. We gotta get ready. We gotta get right. The Raiders and the Chargers light it up tonight. So get ready. I mean, get ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party. We got Frank and Al and Dan. They're gonna get it kick-started. Lynn and the crew's all set. The crowd is fighting. 'Cause all my rowdy friends are back for Monday night. The city of San Diego, California's southernmost city, on a spectacular Chamber of Commerce evening, temperature about 70 degrees. Sellout crowd, Jack Murphy Stadium. Long-time rivalry going back to the days of the AFL, the Oakland Raiders and the San Diego Chargers on Monday Night Football. Hello again, everyone. Frank Gifford with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf. Good AFC West matchup tonight. San Diego coming in with a 4-2 record. They're not happy with the way they played at the beginning of the season, but they do know if they win tonight, they will move into a second-place tie with Kansas City, 1 game back at Denver in the tough AFC West. Meanwhile, the Oakland Raiders come in tonight. They are 3-4, and oddly enough, they're getting happy about it because things are starting to come around for the Raiders. They lost 4 of their first 5 games. They lost the last 6 games of last season, mostly due to key injuries, and one of them, Al, they are so happy about, and that is that their quarterback, Jeff Hostetler, who's such a big part of this team, appears to be healthy and able to perform like he can.
Frankie, really makes the difference because last year they were 8-2, then Hostetler got hurt, and they lost their last 6 games, and they lost the 2 games he didn't start earlier this season. But he's back. He incurred a knee injury earlier this season, appears to be 100%. In fact, he has thrown 7 touchdown passes in his last 2 games. Their running game is also very good and very deep. They're averaging 5 yards per carry, which is terrific, and defensively they're playing okay. This is a team that feels a lot better about itself after victories against the Jets and the Detroit Lions, but there comes a time for a team like the Raiders in midseason when they play a critical game, a turning point game, a game that determines whether they are contenders or pretenders. For the Raiders, tonight is that night as they take on the San Diego Chargers and a team that's 4-2, but when we're talking to the Chargers, you get the feeling they feel very fortunate to be 4-2 right now.
You're right about that, Al. Part of that is they've only scored 1 more point than their opposition, and the Chargers clearly would like to be more dominant. Now, offensively, a lot of their problems stem from a lack of a running game. They released Natron Means in the offseason, and part of that running game left with him. They're averaging only 91 yards a game. And 2 weeks ago in a loss at Denver, their offensive line turned in one of the worst performances of all time. They must be better. Now, defensively, of course, everyone knows about Junior Seau, and according to Coach Bobby Ross, he's having his best season ever. But not to be lost in all this is that the Chargers defense as a whole is ranked dead last in the National Football League. And in a victory against the Raiders a month ago up in Oakland, they gave up 553 yards. And a performance like that tonight, I think, will translate into a San Diego loss. They must be better defensively. Now their head coach is Bobby Ross, and right now he's down on the field with Lynn Swan.
Thank you, Dan. Bobby, your quarterback, Stan Humphries, among the top-rated quarterbacks on Monday Night Football. Does he have to play up to those numbers in the air to win?
He's got to be focused and ready to go. I think he is, Len. We got to have a big game out of him.
Raiders are bringing in a strong passing attack with Tim Brown. How do you stop it?
We got to just stop the big play. I think that's the starting point. We're better than what we've been showing just statistically.
Coach, thank you very much. Al?
All right, thank you, Lynn. So Bobby Ross in his 5th season as the head coach of the Chargers. And the San Diego Chargers trying to go to 5-2 as the Raiders try to get even before their bye week. San Diego coming off its bye week. Bobby Ross very upset after that loss to Denver, in which the team squandered a 17-0 lead and lost 28-17. The Raiders will have their bye week next week. In fact, the next time the Raiders see action, it's another Monday night game. We will have them at home against the Denver Broncos on Monday Night Football 2 weeks from tonight.
And now that bye week is going to help the Raiders because they are getting some people back healthy, but their secondary is going to be kind of a patched up one tonight. The Chargers not terribly effective with the passing game, but it'll be a test for the Raiders secondary because they have some key injuries. Eddie Anderson is out. Dan Land will slip into there. James Trapp will move over for Albert Lewis. It'll be interesting because I think the Chargers would like to run the ball, but it's going to be a great test to test that.
Cole Ford is the new place kicker this season after Jeff Jager had held down that spot for many years. Jager was released and then came back to burn the Raiders. Jeff now with the Chicago Bears and beat them with a field goal. Terrell Fletcher is back to receive the kick for San Diego, along with Andre Coleman. Coleman in his career, and he's in only his 3rd season in the league, has returned 4 kickoffs for touchdowns during the regular season and also won in the Super Bowl against San Francisco in January of '95. Here we go from San Diego with Cole Ford kicking off and booming one through the end zone. And so the San Diego Chargers will take over at their own 20-yard line. Stan Humphries, chosen by the Washington Redskins in the 6th round in 1988 when Bobby Beathard was there. Now here is the general manager. Stan's been here since '92. He has Leonard Russell starting at running back. The tight ends are Mitchell and May with Papunu inactive. Andre Coleman and Tony Martin are the wideouts. Parker Moden, Engel for the injured Courtney Hall, Davis and Birdie up front. First down from the 20-yard line. Short drop by Humphries, and the first pass is low, intended for his favorite receiver, Tony Martin. Martin has caught 37 balls. Let's take a look at the Raiders. Very tough up front. Lance Johnstone is a rookie out of Temple. Gets the start at end. Maryland, the former Cowboy, with McLaughlin in the middle and Swilling on the outside. Fredrickson, Beekert, and Jones, the linebackers. Frank talked about the injuries in the secondary, and thus McDaniel and Trapp at the corners, but Lynch and Land at safeties instead of Carrington, who is inactive, and Anderson, who is inactive. And our first flags of the night, the crew tonight, headed by referee Ron Blum.
Play the snap, 77 offense. False start, 5 yards, repeat 2nd down.
Eric Moulton cost San Diego 5 and makes it 2nd down and 15.
Well, there has been a struggle spot. Has been the offensive line for these Chargers.
Well, Bobby Ross turned up the heat on these guys. You see Moden, the left guard. He gets an early start going out on Russell, Maryland. They were absolutely pitiful 2 weeks ago against Denver. They have been challenged by their coach.
Humphries buys time with a good fake and throws into traffic, and it's broken up. Tony Martin, the intended receiver, and Dan Land comes flying in to bat it away. McDaniel also in on the coverage. 3rd and 15 upcoming.
Dan Land filling in for the injured Eddie Anderson makes a good play on that ball. Ball hung up there as they tried to go to Martin, but watch 25 come in, bottom of the screen, batting it away. Good coverage. Dan Land again filling in for a superb safety, free safety, Eddie Anderson.
And there is Eddie Anderson. They hope to have him back in 2 or 3 weeks. 3rd and 15. Pressure on Humphries. He unloads deep, but the coverage is terrific. Intended for the rookie Charlie Jones, and Larry Brown, last year's Super Bowl MVP, is the Dallas Cowboy with the coverage.
But once again, Stan Humphries ends up on the ground. Pat Swilling, I think that time, got inside penetration and came right up the middle and planted Humphries. Not the start they were looking for offensively.
Darren Bennett to punt, leading the league in punting. It is dropped by Hobbs, picked back up, and he brings it back out to the 43-yard line, and that's where the Raiders will take over. Jeff Hostetler guided the New York Giants to a victory in Super Bowl 25 in Tampa against Buffalo. And Haas has Napoleon Kaufman starting at running back with Derek Fenner. Jett and Brown are the wideouts, and Ricky Dudley is a terrific rookie tight end. Jenkins, Wisniewski, Robbins, Gogan, and Kennedy, the interior 5. First down, Oakland at the 43-yard line. And Haas goes to the air. Protection is good. Fires over the middle to Tim Brown, who makes his 44th catch of the season. And that's a first down on a 15-yard gain to the 42-yard line. He's tackled there by Rodney Harrison. Now the Chargers up front. Mims having a good year. Lee and Davis in the middle. And Marco Coleman picked up as a free agent to replace Leslie O'Neal. Bush, Govea, the former Eagle and Redskin, and the great Seau. Gordon making his first start in 2 seasons with Shaw outside. Harrison and Ross are the safeties. First down at the San Diego 42-yard line. And Kaufman, who's averaging 6.8 yards a carry, dances his way to a first down at the 28-yard line before Terrence Shaw runs him out of bounds. And the sun going down, well, they said it was going to go down according to the Farmer's Almanac at 6:09, and they weren't lying.
Well, you do read it all, don't you, Al?
Love that Farmer's Almanac.
So far, everything is working for Oakland. They get the big completion over the middle to Tim Brown. Now they turn loose Napoleon Kaufman around the left side. Missed tackle by Kurt Govea. Another first down.
So far, the Raiders dispensing with 2nd and 3rd down.
From the 27-yard line. They give it to Kaufman again, and he takes it to the 25. We'll see a lot of Joe Aska, and we'll also see Harvey Williams, who's been hurt back tonight. I mentioned at the top, the Raiders a good running game and a deep running game, and 3 guys who can do a lot of damage.
Harvey Williams has missed the last couple of games with a calf injury. There's Harvey over on the sideline, and this is a guy who has in the past generated more than 1,000 yards in a season. Depth is not a problem at the running back position for the Raiders. Plenty of qualified people.
No score, a little more than 2 minutes into the game in San Diego. On 2nd and 8, Hostetler with pressure from the outside, escapes and then throws, and it's incomplete. Raiders want intentional grounding. No flag. Lewis Bush, the linebacker, put the heat on. And Mims.
This is what the Chargers need more of. Their blitz patterns have been strictly Junior Seau, and I think we'll see them changing it up a lot more. They have been picked up rather readily, and Junior Seau, while he is a good linebacker on the blitz, he needs a little help. That time he got it from the inside, and they were all over Hostetler.
I think Charger fans are justified in being unhappy with not getting an intentional grounding. You're supposed to be outside the pocket to be able to get rid of a football like that. I think Hostetler was still in the pocket.
He was clearly between the tackles. 3rd down and 9. Straight drop back. He throws. Great pass caught by Tim Brown as he threaded it in there and had some touch on it as well. Eric Castle runs him out of bounds at the 3, 1st and goal.
San Diego trying to double up on Tim Brown, and Tim Brown just running away from the coverage, and what a beautiful touch. There he is, number 81. There he is in the slot, breaks to the cross, turns around one defensive back, Rodney Harrison, and a good touch by Hostetler.
Well, I mentioned at the top how they gave up. Dave Adolph's group gave up over 550 yards to the Raiders, and wow, They're not showing any signs of having learned their lesson.
Jerry Ball is in the backfield as the blocking back, the 300-pounder, and thus San Diego says, wait a minute, timeout. Timeout defensively for the Chargers. First down and goal when we come back. 12:08 remaining in the opening quarter with Oakland threatening. Here's tonight's Coca-Cola Red Zone fact. The highest opponent's touchdown percentage inside the red zone. As you can see, San Diego has yielded a touchdown 74% of the time. The opposition has gone inside the 20, worst in the league. The NFL average is 47%. Stay tuned at the end of the game for the winning red zone number. First and goal with Jerry Ball, the blocking back, from the 2-yard line. And the ball is given to Derek Fenner for the touchdown. So they put the two big guys back there with a flag down at the 2, and Ball leading the way with a 245-pound Fenner. And Mike White's expression tells you all you need to know about this call.
Well, the Raiders come in here tonight. Annually, they're right up there with the leaders in penalties, and this will be the second one against them this evening. No.
Holding. 83 offense. 10 yards, repeat first down.
Ricky Dudley, the rookie tight end.
Boy, look at Jerry Ball with that lead block thrown by the big guy. Whoa.
He's a wide body, isn't he?
Yes, sir. That's 340 pounds coming at you. The Raiders have done what the Chargers can't, or at least haven't to this point, and that's stopped them.
First and goal from the 12. Here's Kaufman. And Napoleon Kaufman scores on a slant to the right side, turns the corner and goes in back of a Kevin Gogan block to give Oakland the lead.
Well, he's only 5'9" and 180 pounds, but he plays big. That's whatever all the coaches will tell you, all the players. He plays like a big man, but he put on a tremendous move to break it back to the inside and get the touchdown. He is one nifty runner, but he will run strong for you also. Watch when he gets just to the outside. He looks like he's going to take it outside. Little juke there, break to the inside, and no chance does Darian Gordon have.
Well, that's about as dominant of an opening series as a football team can have. Scoring a touchdown, having a call back, and the very next play, you stuff it in again.
Cole Ford for the point after Napoleon Kaufman scores his first rushing touchdown. As you look at Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator, Napoleon's first rushing touchdown since his first NFL game at the beginning of last season. 7-0 Raiders. Back at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego. Great shot as you look down into this facility, which was built in the late 60s and is the home of the San Diego Padres and Chargers and the San Diego State Aztecs. Chargers shaking their head. Jeff Hostetler, meanwhile, guiding the team to a touchdown on the opening drive, which was brilliantly conceived and executed. And Andre Coleman is back to receive Cole Ford's kickoff. His first kickoff wound up going through the end zone, and this one is deep enough for his second touchback. Monday Night Football from San Diego is being brought to you by Nissan, who reminds you that life is a journey. Enjoy the ride. Circuit City, the choice for price selection and service. Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service. And Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light. Drink Bud Ice, but beware the Penguins.
Take my word for it, in this offensive huddle of the Chargers, having just seen what happened to their defensive team, they feel a real sense of urgency. They realize they're going to have to score a lot of points tonight to win this ball game. Let's see if they pick up the tempo.
And on first down, it's Leonard Russell picking up the yard. Remember, Natron Means looked like he'd be their guy as Courtney Hall, the center, is hurt, and Courtney will be out for a couple of weeks. They hope to have him back in 3 weeks or so, and Greg Engel takes over in the middle of a running game that's spearheaded by Russell. We'll also see Aaron Hayden as well tonight, but the Chargers, among other things, dispensed with Natron Meads in a purge this year by Bobby Ross and Bobby Beathard, with O'Neill and Means leaving town. Second down and 9 from the 21-yard line. Russell, who came into the league as a Patriot, takes it up to the 32-yard line. The first-round draft choice out of Arizona State in '91 picks up 11.
Big running back who can also work well out of the backfield. And you're right, he was a first-round draft pick, came here as a free agent. and to fill in for Natron Means, who also took the free agency route. But not only did they let Natron Means go, their receiving corps was hurt. Mark Say, John Jefferson.
Here's Russell again. Stopped initially at the line of scrimmage, and then with a second burst, picks up 6 up to the 38-yard line.
Nice job by Leonard of keeping his legs driving, showing some good balance, spinning back. There was no Raider pursuit, and he's able to pick up 5 yards on something that looked more like a loss of about 1.
6'2" and about 240 pounds, and he moves it really well. Spinning back to the inside, good move.
2nd and 5. Oakland on top 7-0. Their second possession. And it's Russell this time stopped back of the line of scrimmage. Lance Johnstone, a rookie out of Temple, getting the start because Anthony Smith has been suspended by the team. He walked out on the team, did Anthony, who had been the starter. And this kid has actually supplanted Nolan Harrison, at least temporarily, as the starter.
Rookie second-round draft pick out of Temple.
He gives away an awful lot of size in this day and age of huge people playing on the line of scrimmage. Johnstone is only 250 pounds. You can see he's a very lean, not a big-legged guy, and he's given away an awful lot of weight and leverage down there.
3rd down and 7. And Humphreys tries to gun it into the rookie Charlie Jones out of Fresno State, covered by Larry Brown. So the drive begins auspiciously for San Diego, but fizzles out here. And they'll have to punt again.
When Stan Humphrey comes into the huddle, he looks around and he probably wonders whatever happened to Mark Say and Sean Jefferson. His receiver, the one experienced receiver, is Tony Martin, having a great year, but you can double up on a receiver and cover the rookies, Brian Still and Charlie Jones, with single coverage and be very effective.
Here's Bennett now. Booming punt and an angled kick. And it hits the pylon. It hits the pylon.
But they're going to... The pylon
is in the end zone.
It's in the end zone, so that's going to be a touchback. Boy, oh boy, it looked like that was going to go out on the half-yard line, but it hit that pylon. Keep in mind, the minute it touches this pylon, that's the same as entering the end zone.
San Diego Chargers trailing early in the game, 7-0. Darren Bennett with 2 kicks tonight. That last one, 65 yards gross. Hits the pylon, which is part of the end zone. Thus the touchback ball at the 20-yard line for Oakland. And the Raiders, after a brilliant first drive, begin this drive with a completion at the 27-yard line. It is somehow thrown into Darryl Hobbs amidst a trio of blue shirts, including Junior Seau, who almost picked it off.
I think Junior thought he had it there for a moment. Junior came out of there almost with his body language like he had the football. A good look, dropping back into the zone. He alertly sees it when Junior actually had both hands on the football, and superb work by Hobbs.
I think he was thinking about running with it. Hobbs took it out of there.
Good work by Hobbs, maintaining control.
2nd and 3, and Hostetler with a fumble and recovers it himself at the 26-yard line. It's a loss of 1. It'll be 3rd and 4 with 8.5 minutes to go in the quarter, and Mike White in his second season watching his Raiders lead 7-0. Mike, an assistant coach under Art Shell, and then Shell was fired before the beginning of the 1995 season. White, former head coach at Cal and at Illinois, and the Raiders have lost 7 consecutive games within the AFC West. So it's been a year since they've won a game in this division. 3rd down and 4 from the 26-yard line with Tim Brown in motion. Raiders looking at a blitz. Here come the Chargers. Hostetler stepping up and stepping out, looking for the first down, and has it with a flag down. Jeff run out of bounds at the 34-yard line.
Flag down right at the line of scrimmage. The Chargers in a blitz trying to time it out. Let's see if they drew somebody out of their stance.
Seau may have been across the line a little early.
Junior Seau arguably having his finest year thus far. Over that pinched nerve in the neck.
Offside, 90 defense, penalties declined, First down.
He had company. That was Marco Coleman, who played for Bobby Ross when Bobby was the head coach at Georgia Tech, and the Rambling Wreck went on to win a national title.
Of course, Marco coming over as a free agent from the Miami Dolphins. Not terribly big, and he's not having a lot of great stats this year, but they say that he is playing very well within this defense.
Penalty declined after a 9-yard gain by Haas. First down at the 35-yard line, and they give it to Kaufman on a delay. Nice little move there to slip a tackle to the 38. Sayal with a stop.
Good look at Napoleon Kaufman coming right at you. Gavea, the lead block of Fenner, takes care of Gavea, and a nice job there of Kaufman of stutter stepping and allowing Fenner to come in with that block and then taking advantage of it. He wasn't over anxious running into the back of his lead blocker.
2nd and 6. Kaufman to the outside again, and he was slowed up by Gavea and then tackled at the 35-yard line, setting up a 3rd down and 10.
Kurt Gavea, the former Redskin, former Philadelphia Eagle, has brought a lot to this defense for San Diego. He is very quick. He's very bright in the middle. He has helped Junior Seau immensely, and we think back to his days with Philadelphia. They really miss him in Philadelphia.
Well, he did a nice job there scraping upfield and making a play on the Raiders' side of the football. That's the kind of aggressive defense the Chargers need to have.
3rd down and 10, and they need that aggressive defense to stop a 3rd down situation here. The Raiders 2 for 2 on their first 2 third downs, and this play is dead as Hostetler was in the pocket. Nobody heard the whistle until he got back there.
I think the Raiders left early.
Ron Blum, who's had a busy night already.
Prior to the snap, 34 offense, false start, 5 yards.
Officials will always have a busy night when the Raiders are in town, as they annually either lead the league or are right up amongst the leaders in penalties.
You wonder how that can happen year in and year out. There are different players in this era of players turning over and new guys. You see that each of the last 3 seasons, and they're barely trailing Jacksonville. But you wonder how can a legacy like that continue on such an annual basis, even with new coaches. Yeah, it doesn't seem to make any difference.
3rd down and 15. 4-man rush, a little dump off over the middle, and Harvey Williams back in the lineup after missing a munt, juggled it and dropped it, and the Raiders are forced to punt with 5:44 to play in the period.
Raiders choosing to throw underneath. They needed big yardage, tried to dump it off to Harvey for the catch and run, and Harvey was thinking run before catch.
Ball a little bit low and away, and
sometimes it's so difficult.
Harvey just shaking the rust off. Well, where the Chargers have been playing well is on special teams. They're going to make a factor tonight. That number 21 back there, he's the guy that can make a difference.
Jeff Gosh at the kick. Darian Gordon averaging a scintillating 19.5 yards per run back this season. Takes the 48-yard kick at the 22-yard line. And Gordon gets tripped up at the 27-yard line. Tackle made there by Mike Morton. 5:33 left in the opening quarter. Raiders 7, Chargers nothing. Out west, we have the Goodyear Blimp Eagle floating high above Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego on a gorgeous night. Spectacular day, a lot of wind though, and a lot of fires besieging Southern California today as San Diego takes possession of the 28-yard line, 1st and 10. Oakland leading 7-0. Leonard Russell picks his way up to the 32-yard line for a gain of 4 to be 2nd down and 6. Greg Biekert makes the stop. Stan Humphrey still looking for his first completion tonight. Thus the Chargers 3 and out on their first possession. Picked up a 1st down on the ground on their second, but were forced to punt again.
Chargers coming after a week off in their bye, and Stan Humphries needed it. 10 stitches in his chin after he was hammered about 10 or 11 times by the Broncos in the loss of Denver.
2nd down and 6 from the 32-yard line. And first completion of the night to Deems May, the tight end who picks up the first down. It's a tight end-oriented offense. Tight ends and H-backs, and they're missing their big guy tonight, Alfred Papuno. So Deems May, who normally plays about 20 plays a game, will have to go 60 tonight.
We'll see a lot of the rookie Brian Roach from San Jose State. May's a pretty good target and rapidly turning into a pretty good receiver. And there's the offensive coordinator, Ralph Friedgen. And there's Papuno on the sidelines out with a injured groin.
They didn't realize they were going to lose Alfred till pregame warm-ups. He came to the stadium hoping to play.
First down from the 44, and Stan Humphries slides to a halt at midfield, picking up 6 yards.
Did Stan get hurt?
Stan Humphries is shaken.
Did he get? He took the hook slide, but Stan is calling for help.
He probably caught a cleat. He is hurt.
And Sean Salisbury is the backup quarterback. The former USC Trojan who played at Minnesota begins to loosen up with the seemingly indestructible Humphries, one of the toughest guys in the league.
He tried to do everything right. He was going to take the hook slide, which protects him. And he took a couple shots.
McLaughlin and Fredrickson.
He was just a little late indicating that hook slide. Boy, the fans are not going to like that.
Well, they just saw that same replay that you saw.
That's Chester McLaughlin, all 325 pounds of him.
You know, the problem of it is, though, is that they're both already in the air when Stan heads to the ground. You're asking the impossible for a guy to pull off there.
Injury timeout.
Well, it appears to be the left shoulder of Stan Humphries. He points to it as he walks off the field, and you can see he's immobilized it, holding it up to his body. Watch him slide. He leaves his left arm in the trail position, and there it gets forced to the ground as Chester McLaughlin lands on top of him.
So
we'll await word from the Charger bench.
It is 2nd down and 5 as play resumes, and Leonard Russell goes nowhere. So Salisbury's first play, a running play, will get a report as they take Stan Humphries back to the locker room. And Salisbury, a San Diego native who went to USC and began his NFL career with Seattle in '86, was out of football last year, was a radio analyst, and signed by the Chargers to back up Humphries this spring.
Longest run, of course, in Minnesota. We had him on a couple of games there.
3rd down and 5 from the 49-yard line, and Salisbury going deep, and he hits Charlie Jones, the rookie out of Fresno State, for a first down, and he's thrust out of bounds by James Trapp at the 20.
I think this is such a good call by Ralph Friedgen, the offensive coordinator. Don't do the obvious and just hammer it into the line, hoping that Salisbury gets warmed up slowly. Let him throw the ball deep. This instantly changes the way the Raiders now will play defense.
Of course, the Raiders doing what you anticipated they would do. They blitzed him right away. Good pickup by the offensive line of the San Diego Chargers. Charlie Jones with a lot of speed got down deep.
2:48 to go in the quarter. 7-0. Raiders on top, and Salisbury does get the play away, but he'd have been better served if he hadn't, as Leonard Russell gets tackled by McLaughlin. Loss of 3.
Chester McLaughlin, that's nothing fancy, just a slant to the outside, and he's right in the middle of your screen, number 91. Greg Engel, the center, leans his way for a moment. That appeared to be some type of blocking confusion between Engel, the center, and Moten, the left guard. One of those two guys, or maybe both of them, should have thought about blocking Big Chester.
Loss of 4, 2nd and 14. Corner blitz, pass caught at the 14. It's Charlie Jones again. It'll be 3rd down and 5. He's tackled there by James Trapp. Jones, 5'8" and 175, a rookie pickup out of Fresno State as the Chargers try to find a good young receiver. They thought they had one in their top draft choice this year, Brian Still, but Jones begins to emerge now.
Good look that Jones was going to take it deep. Trapp, who's filling in for the injured Albert Lewis, bought a little bit of it, thought he was going to take it deep, and it was pretty good timing by Salisbury, who could not have had much work during the past few weeks. Humphries taking most of the snaps, of course.
3rd down and 4. They stack the receivers on the left side. Run a nice play. That's Jones again. and he's taken down at the 9-yard line, and that's enough for a first down. First and goal, covered by Larry Brown.
Pretty tough to fault Salisbury in the way he's throwing the ball. He's authoritative. He's very crisp. As Fred Whittingham, the defensive coordinator of the Raiders, tries to find something here that'll work. But look at the quality of that throw. Nice tight spiral right on the numbers.
And a good scheme.
Yeah.
Had the two receivers lined up right together. And Jones breaking to the outside. Larry Brown had a long way to come.
Jones' third catch of the game. A minute to go in the quarter. First and goal, San Diego from the 9. Leonard Russell picks up 3 to the 6-yard line. Rob Frederickson makes the tackle. Second down and goal.
I'll give this Charger team credit as Ralph Friedgen, the offensive coordinator, looks down on the field, makes the call, but they know they're in trouble. Their leader, Stan Humphrey, has gone in for a checkup on that shoulder. Offensive line has been hurt, particularly with the loss of Courtney Hall at center. They've got a lot of injuries along that line, but they have really sucked it up.
Well, sometimes an injury to your number one guy can really light a spark. Sometimes it just gets everybody angry, and they say, what the heck are we doing?
Thus far, it's done that on this drive.
It sure has. That's the way they're playing to this point, at least on this drive.
Salisbury is 3 of 3 for 46 yards.
Sorry, number 7 of the offense. Ball start. 5 yards. Repeat second down.
Vaughn Parker.
Again, Salisbury probably has not had that much work during the week, during the preparation, with Humphrey taking all the snaps. He has a different rhythm. Even though they go on the same kind of count, the rhythm is different. It'll take a while for this offensive line to settle in with him.
Tough spot to give up 5 yards, though. Things are going against you anyway if you're in a blue jersey. Don't make it harder on yourself than it already is.
On second and goal. Great protection. Slings it into the end zone. Caught for the touchdown by Tony Martin.
Fabulous pass protection by this much maligned offensive line of the Chargers.
Salisbury keeping it alive, and Tony Martin at the back of the end zone making a good move to come back to Salisbury, but it never would have worked without the protection.
No, that's all on the offensive line of the Chargers.
There's Terry McDaniel on the coverage. Now watch Martin. Got around behind him, came back along the baseline, and credit the offensive line, but a good throw by Salisbury and good heads-up play by Martin.
John Carney for the point after. Salisbury stays in the hold. And Dan talked about lighting a spark, and that's what Sean did. He was 4 of 4 for 57 yards on that drive. Guided him in from his own 49 to tie the game with 3 ticks left in the period. The Chargers and the Raiders tied 7-7 as Salisbury connects with Tony Martin. And Martin scores his 4th touchdown against the Raiders in 5 quarters this season. He had 3 touchdowns and 10 receptions in San Diego's 40-34 win earlier this year.
It wasn't a textbook spiral on its way to Martin, but nonetheless, that protection afforded Salisbury a great look at everything that was happening in the end zone.
Carney kicks off, and it's a short kick, fielded at the 12-yard line by Napoleon Kaufman. And Kaufman skirts the sideline, good run back, and takes it up to the 40-yard line as the quarter ends.
And Carney paid the price.
Yeah, he punished him, didn't he?
End of the first quarter, Raiders 7, Chargers 7, and back we come with Monday Night Football after this message and a word from our ABC station. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, Lynn Swan. We start the second quarter. The game tied 7-7, and the Raiders begin from the 41-yard line on 1st and 10. Hostetler throws underneath, caught by Kaufman. He takes it all the way to the San Diego 42, tackled by Seau. And let's get a report on Stan Humphries from Lynn Swan. Lynn?
Now, when he came off the field, he walked to the bench area, looked straight ahead and said, I am done, I am out, it's my shoulder. They got him into the locker room. It's a left supplicated shoulder, meaning it pops in and out. Now, they'll x-ray it. They can probably pop it back into place, but it's questionable as to whether or not he'll come back into the ball game. But he thought for sure and felt when he came off the field he was done for the evening. Now?
Okay, thank you, Lynn. As Sean Salisbury's on the phone with Ralph Friedgen upstairs. First down from the 43-yard line. And Harvey Williams with a nice spin move down to the 36 to pick up 7. It'll be 2nd and 3. As we look at the numbers for the first 15 minutes of play, Raiders with a great opening drive, and then Salisbury came in to get San Diego even. Okay.
We're at the floor of numbers here. You see San Diego with that nice comeback, as Al said, late. Even in first downs and not much else happening. Great sound effects, though.
2nd down and 3 from the 36-yard line. Hostetler protected very well, but Brown also covered very well by Darian Gordon. It'll be 3rd down and 3. We go to Minneapolis next Monday night, and our matchup on Monday Night Football has the Chicago Bears trying to get healthy with Dave Craig at quarterback against the Minnesota Vikings, playing very well at the outset, but chasing the Green Bay Packers. So a very key game for the Vikings coming up next Monday night from the Metrodome. Chicago at Minnesota. 3rd down and 3 from the 36-yard line. And Hostetler fires over the middle and hits Darryl Hobbs, who has been a key man for the Raiders on 3rd down this season. Willie Clark makes the tackle. 1st down.
Well, Hobbs, because of his great size, really effective working inside. A big target for Hostetler, 6'2", 175 pounds. And actually, that's pretty doggone good coverage. But just another nice throw from Hostetler and good concentration by a very emerging Darryl Hobbs.
They work him opposite Tim Brown, and it's hard to get double coverage on either one of them.
1st down at the 27-yard line. Hostetler finding his receivers covered, so Jeff takes off and is tackled at the 21-yard line by Junior Seau. It's a gain of 6.
Of course, the Raiders also have James Jett, who is beginning to play back to his great season as a rookie 4 years ago. So you're talking about Brown and Hobbs and Jett, and emerging into what could be a big superstar is Ricky Dudley, the #1 draft pick out of Ohio State, the big tight end. He has 14 receptions, 4 touchdowns, so they can really come at you with some fine receivers and a lot of speed.
2nd and 4, and Harvey Williams is the back in this set. They give it to Harvey, and the one-time first-round draft choice of the Kansas City Chiefs gets to the 19, where it'll be 3rd down and about 1.5 yards. Larry Kennan brought in as the quarterbacks coach to work earlier this season with Billy Joe Hobart as the #1 guy with Hostetler hurt, but now working with the veteran Jeff Hostetler. A lot of trade rumors had been swirling around the Raiders, in particular with Jeff George, since Mike White had coached Jeff George in college. Raiders, of course, at this point say there wasn't any fire along with the smoke, but who knows what really went on.
Jeff Hostetler took so much abuse trying to play hurt, as we've seen him do over his career. He's really one tough guy, and really erupted last year, had that super game last week.
Raiders will take a timeout here with 3rd and a short 2 upcoming. 11:37 to the half, game tied. The Goodyear Blimp Eagle providing that beautiful shot of Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego. The game is tied 7-7 as the Raiders at their own at the San Diego 19 look at a 3rd down and short 2. Take it to Fenner. Haas going for 6, and it's broken up at the very end. Andrew Glover, the tight end, looking for a flag, and the back judge says no, sir. Great coverage by Rodney Harrison and Eric Castle.
That was good coverage because the cornerbacks were out for the San Diego Chargers. They brought their short yardage defense, and pretty good play action fake. But back there was Eric Castle. Rodney Harrison getting his arms up. Castle right with him, right off the fingertips.
Now a 37-yard field goal attempt for Cole Ford. Jeff Gossett to hold. So Ford tries to give the Raiders the lead again. From 37 yards out, Cole Ford bangs it through. And the Raiders on top again with 11:27 left in the half. It's Oakland 10, San Diego 7. Sean Salisbury ready to come back in, a guy who played his college ball at USC, and he's going to be the man tonight. Stan Humphries not expected to return. He told Lynn Swan, forget it, as they look at his shoulder and pull Ford to kick off. He's just given Oakland the lead. The Raiders on top 10-7 as Oakland seeks its third victory in a row. Ford's first 2 kicks were touchbacks. This one a much shorter one. Flag is down at the 40-yard line as Andre Coleman runs out of bounds, and when a flag is down, that means one of the Raiders came across the 40 before Ford did, and they'll be offside. Howard Slavin is the side judge, and he's the man who makes the call. Across the 30-yard line, not the 40-yard line. Rusty Tillman, the special teams coach, awaits this call. A lot of discussion for what figures to be a pretty simple penalty. Chuck Free for the San Diego special teams coach.
I think if you've got an Andre Coleman back there, you're going to want to kick it again. Coleman has 4 kickoff returns in his career for touchdowns.
He's discussing it could be against San Diego.
Against San Diego. It looks like it is.
38 of the receivers. Penalties declined.
They didn't have enough.
Oakland.
They didn't have enough men up the line.
ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, reminds you fresh beer tastes better. Plymouth, one clever idea after another, that's Plymouth. And Pepsid AC Acid Controller, you can be heartburn free with Pepsid AC. I'd mentioned it's a pretty simple call when you think about it initially. Offside when they drop the flag right there, but the official can also look at the receiving team, and you got to give the kicker 10 yards, and one of the Chargers was within that 10-yard range, and that's why they were offside. From the 25-yard line, Salisbury on first down has that pass tipped, and it's incomplete. Second down and 10. Salisbury's last series coming in for the injured Stan Humphries, and he hooked up with Charlie Jones on a couple of passes, and then had it pay off after he hooked up with Jones once, then twice, and then the touchdown pass to Tony Martin in the back of the end zone. Second down and 10 from the 25-yard line. And this is Terrell Fletcher, who takes it to the 31, second year back out of Wisconsin. They had very high hopes for him, but he's been slow in getting his career off to a promising start.
Well, he replaced Ronnie Harmon in Ronnie Harmon's role. He's more of a third down back, works well out of the backfield. Ronnie Harmon, of course, went to Houston, and Ronnie Harmon, one of the great third down backs ever to play this game, and just another one of the Charger skilled players that they lost. We mentioned Marksay, Sean Jefferson, Natron Means.
Third down and 4. Tony Martin, who scored the touchdown, not in the lineup right now. In fact, he did run into the locker room, and then he came quickly back out for whatever reason. On third down and 4, the catch is made by Charlie Jones, and the rookie catches his 4th ball of the night and has a first down.
Charlie Jones, very, very fast, not very big, 5'8", 175 pounds, but very quick. Well, he's working against Super Bowl MVP Larry Brown, and Larry gave him a cushion, and Jones took advantage of it. Larry Brown has been playing with a very sore foot. A foot that's not going to get better either. It's going to bother him the entire season.
Aaron Hayden is in the game at running back now. First down from the 37-yard line. And that is tipped again and incomplete. It looked like Pat Swilling got a hand up, the longtime Saint, who then went to Detroit and now plays with the Raiders as his very distinguished career comes toward its climax. A guy who is a half a sack away from 100.
Yeah, here is number 56, and like Marco Coleman of the San Diego Chargers, he played for Bobby Ross at Georgia Tech. Pat Swilling started with New Orleans, went to Detroit, and probably going to wind it up with the Raiders.
Second down, 10 from the 37. 10 minutes to go in the half. Oakland up by 3. And this is Hayden. And the former Tennessee star tries to get on track and gets taken down by a bunch of white shirts up at the 35-yard line.
Ball carrier number
Hayden spelling Russell, A-A-R-O-N, and he said last year at the end of the year, he said, listen, my mom calls me Aaron, and who are we to argue with Mama? So he'll be Aaron.
Well, Aaron got himself behind a very slow developing sweep to the right, and that will never be effective, particularly with the kind of pursuit you get out of this Raider team. Very poorly designed, and it loses a couple.
3rd and 12 at the 35. They pick up the blitz nicely. Fletcher makes the catch on 3rd down, but can't get on track. Can only get to the 42-yard line, well short of a first down.
John Salisbury getting some pretty high percentage pass plays called for him. I think they're trying to ease him into this. Sylvester Groom on the sideline.
From the 42-yard line, Darren Bennett to punt. Darrell Hobbs is back to receive. Another boomer. Fair catch called for and made at the 9-yard line. 49-yard kick. 8:31 to the half. The Raiders leading 10-7 in Surf City, USA. Primetime live to wrap up the Wednesday night lineup right here on ABC. Raiders from the 9-yard line. Hostetler on first down, going deep and almost picked off at the 40-yard line. Terrence Shaw got his hands on it. Intended for Tim Brown.
Well, it was intended for Tim Brown, but it was overthrown at 5 yards and almost picked off. Jeff maybe was thinking Tim might be going to do something a little different on the other end of that. A deep kind of a curl in. Here's Brown. He found the empty seam, but well overthrown.
No, I'm not sure that Hostetler was anticipating that little fake to the sidelines that Brown made that slowed him down.
I think they were at two different defenses. Brown saw the zone, Hostetler didn't.
2nd and 10 from the 9, and Harvey Williams has nowhere to run. Stopped after a gain of 1. It'll be 3rd and 9 for the Raiders from the 10-yard line. Marco Coleman with the initial hit.
Harvey doesn't look real sure of himself. There's a good look at Joe Bugle, the offensive line coach of the Raiders and their assistant head coach. But right now, Harvey looks like a guy who's feeling his way back into it. He very much gives the impression, Frank, of a guy that's been out a couple weeks.
And a little tentative, a very sore calf. They say he's ready to go, and they say also that they really need him the second half of the season. He's their guy. It's going to take him into the playoffs if they're going to get there.
3rd and 9, Raiders leading by 3 midway through the second quarter. Blitz. Brown makes the catch to the 24-yard line. Live by it, die by it. Hostetler got hit as the Chargers came blitzing through. Jeff pays the price, but got it away. First down.
Well, even if you blitz, you have got to have somebody keeping an eye on Tim Brown. He stutter stepped along the line of scrimmage. They just lost him in the coverage, and he came off the line of scrimmage with no one even near him. You have to account for Tim Brown when you play the Raiders.
And Chris Mims puts a helmet right into the right rib cage of Jeff Hostetler, and that hurt Jeff. You could see him grimacing when it was over. Good pressure there by Chris Mims, who's having his best year in quite a while for the San Diego Chargers.
From the 24-yard line, Kaufman started to stumble as he took the handoff. It's a gain of 1. Steve Wisniewski beginning to mix it up with Chris Mims, and Steve has very much been in the news. In fact, he's $50,000 lighter this week.
He was fined $50,000 for 2 separate incidents that took place in their game with Detroit. $30,000 for his, I believe, 3rd unnecessary roughness call of the season. He was late hitting a pile, and then $20,000 in a separate incident where he charged and made contact with an official. A rough week for Wisniewski.
2nd down and 9. And Hostetler throws, and it's a little too high for Tim Brown, who looks for a flag. and doesn't get it.
Oh, a little frustrated with himself, too, because even though he probably was bumped a little bit, this is a pass he should have caught. Well, now Tim Brown really exercised. That ball was well thrown.
3rd and 9. Season approaching the halfway mark. If you haven't heard it today, 2 coaches, Dave Shula and Jim Mora, no longer head coaches in the NFL. I'll look at the play again here.
Rodney Harrison with a little bump there that Tim Brown thought was unnecessary. It didn't draw the flag, and Brown should have caught the football.
3rd and 9. Dave Shula fired today in Cincinnati. Jim Mora resigning today in New Orleans. Hostetler throws, catch made, Darryl Hobbs, and Hobbs has been the big man all season on 3rd down, picks up a 3rd down conversion here, 1st down up at the 37-yard line.
I think slender is an overstatement for Darryl Hobbs, but he's a tough player with a lot of speed, and they like to use him on 3rd down. He's not afraid to come across the middle. And that time he made a good move after he caught the ball to get the 1st down yardage. Well, they do go to him on 3rd down.
Darian Gordon, the cornerback to that side, tried to make an ankle tackle, and Hobbs just really high-stepped it right over the top of him.
Darian Gordon with his first start, missed all of last year with a rotator cuff problem.
1st down from the 37. Harvey Williams takes the swing pass, and he is out of bounds. He stepped on the chalk at the 42. And that comes in at the end of the play.
Boy, they threw the flag. Kevin Ross was the safety, and he came up and made contact with Williams at the end of the play. Are they going to say that that was a late hit? That is what they're going to say.
Unnecessary roughness. Late hit after the wicket. 15 yards. Number 36 defense.
You know, let's take a close look at this, and let's try to forget that there's been some pushing and shoving going on prior to this. Looks like Harvey Williams is still working. I think that's really touchy. Yep. I think that's a direct result of the fact that there's been some pushing and shoving on the previous couple of plays. If you're Kevin Ross, that looks to you like Harvey Williams is still in bounds, and it's still a live play.
Yep.
I think that's just a little too fine by the officials. That shouldn't have been thrown.
1st and 10 at the 42-yard line, and Hostetler throws for Brown, incomplete. Ross covering on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
It's not like Kevin Ross tried to put a helmet in his throat or something like that.
Dan, we were talking about Wisniewski before. When a guy gets fined like that, what does it do to his aggressiveness?
Well, to a normal person, I would have to think that it would really slow you down. I think Steve Wisniewski is a guy, I'm not insinuating he's not normal, but I think he's a guy that will play right through it. $50,000 is a lot of money. The $20,000 for bumping an official, hey, that's inexcusable. It can't happen. $30,000 for jumping on a pile, that seems like an awful lot of money to me. That seemed like too much.
2nd and 10, and Kaufman tries to find a corner to turn around, and he's ridden down by Rodney Harrison for a loss.
I mean, for what Wisniewski got fined for, I know this. I played with a bunch of guys that if fines were being thrown around like that, then they would have had to write a check to the league. They wouldn't have made any money by the end of the season.
I was going to ask you what it would have done to your bank account for most of your career.
How about Dobler?
Did he ever make 65?
Dobler would have been going to the ATM at halftime.
3rd and 13, 4:55 remaining in the half. Oakland leading 10-7. They have to get to the 32 to convert. And Hostetler banged to the ground at the 41-yard line. Well short of the 1st down and still out of field goal range. John Torella knocks him down.
Good defensive effort by the San Diego Chargers. The play before, they just stuffed the Raiders when they tried to sweep to the right side. That time they got pressure on Hostetler. He had no place to put it. They forced the punt.
And they did a decent job in the secondary covering up the receivers.
Jeff Gossett playing in his 208th game to punt. Darian Gordon back to receive it. Fair catch is called for. and Gordon hauls it in at the 10.
Not exactly a high-risk position, you know.
No. 4 minutes to the half. Oakland by 3. Four minutes remaining in the first half in San Diego. The Chargers coming into this game 4-2. Trying to keep pace at least with Denver and Kansas City and stay a game back. And the Raiders trying to get to 500 from the 9-yard line on 1st and 10. Sean Salisbury, in place of the injured Humphreys, gives the ball to Hayden. A flag is thrown as Hayden picks up a couple.
And another one comes in later.
Blum indicating a holding call. Will back the Chargers up half the distance to the goal line.
Holding 60 offense. Holding 83 offense. Both penalties are declined. Second down.
That's Greg Engel and Andre Coleman. And the Raiders take the play instead, and that makes it second down and 9. Well, the Raiders and the Chargers, as Frank mentioned at the very top, an old AFC rivalry, and they have played some fabulous and very memorable games through the years. The Holy Roller was part of that series.
Sure was. And even earlier this year, the game up in Oakland that the Chargers won 40-34. These things normally aren't decided until the very end of this thing.
Well, you go back to the beginning in the AFL, 1960, when Chargers were actually in Los Angeles.
Right.
They've had some unbelievable battles. There's no blood lost here.
No. Jack Kemp was the quarterback for the original Los Angeles Chargers.
Jack is here tonight with his two sons, Jeff and Jimmy, both professional quarterbacks.
Second down and 9 from the 11-yard line. And the catch is made up at the 19-yard line by Andre Coleman to make it third down and 1.
Now Dave Shula gets fired today in Cincinnati. So no surprise to any of us after his tirade last night. Jim Moore decides to step down in New Orleans. I hope not lost in all this is what Jim Moore did for that Saints franchise, how he turned them into a winner and how he won consistently over the years. I just have a great deal of respect for Jim Moore.
He produced the first winning team they ever had in New Orleans.
Yep. And their only playoff appearances. And Jim had the longest tenure of any coach in the league. On 3rd and 1, Hayden to the 21. They have not named a replacement yet for Mara. There is a bye week for New Orleans, so they do have a little bit of time. Bruce Coslett, meanwhile, at least for the balance of this season, replaces Shula in Cincinnati.
Bruce has had head coaching experience with the Jets for several years before he went back to Cincinnati as the offensive coordinator. He'll do a good job.
At the 21-yard line. Salisbury slings it on first down and wide open. He finds Brian Still, who was their top draft choice this year, and in their 7th game of the season, Still finally makes his first career catch.
Well, they've been waiting for this to happen. They traded their first-round draft pick for next year for a second-round draft pick this year to pick up this man out of Virginia Tech. He has blazing speed, about 4.3. Well, a little look to the outside, split the zone, and he was there. This time, Dan, he was just concentrating on catching it.
Exactly right, Frank. But you looked at Terry McDaniel playing that. He was obviously expecting some deep outside help from a safety that wasn't there. A nice job of the Chargers of finding that break in the Raiders secondary.
2-minute warning.
Tiger is tearing it up.
He is.
I guess it's gotten to the point anytime that he's in a tournament, he's the favorite.
Yeah. From the 43-yard line on first down, Salisbury throws. Catch made by Shannon Mitchell, his first of the night. Those of you who've watched the Falcons and the Jets, the Braves and the Yankees tonight, that game is over. Atlanta wins by a score of 4-0. Greg Maddux goes 8. Mark Wohlers out of the bullpen to wrap it up. Fred McGriff is the offensive star, and the Braves lead 2-0.
You know, Al, if Maddux would have gone the distance, that would have been the first complete game shutout in the World Series since Curt Schilling back in '93. You know, when the Phillies played Toronto.
I didn't know you covered it to that extent.
Well, you're not the only one.
2nd down and 8. Certainly not anymore. 3rd down and 8.
I feel like Jim Palmer up here. Wandered into the wrong booth.
Cover the globe.
Spanning the globe.
Yes.
In case you wonder, John Carney, fine field goal kicker for San Diego, his best this year, a 53-yarder.
That's Floyd Peters right there, the defensive line coach of the Raiders, one of the great defensive line coaches in the NFL. This guy has been everywhere. Former fine defensive tackle himself back in the olden days.
3rd and 8, and the pass intended for Charlie Jones is incomplete. He's covered by Trapp. 4th down.
For number 17, Charlie Jones.
Well, looking at what's happened to this point as we're inside the 2-minute warning in the first half, a 10-7 ball game. The way this thing got started, I thought this was going to be more like that 40-34 effort instead of a closely fought 3-point ball game approaching halftime.
I think you touched on it, though. When Stan Humphries went down, the rest of the Chargers just kicked it up another gear.
They sure did.
Darren Bennett to try to pooch punt it. And a pretty good pooch. Caught at the 6-yard line. Getting down there, he had enough altitude on it that Mark Montroy is there to catch it. Yeah, right now, Chris, the Denver Broncos playing terrific football. They have Kansas City at Mile High next week, and then we'll see Denver make its only Monday night appearance 2 weeks from tonight in Oakland.
Chris was probably going to mention that Kurt Schilling thing. I hope I didn't steal your thunder there.
Oh, by the way, a little screen pass to Harvey Williams to take it up to the 17-yard line, close to a 1st down. Just mentioning, we'll talk to Steve Young at the half. Well, I know we did Steve last week, but he earned another halftime spot with that valiant run yesterday to win the game.
Well, the whole game, when he had to come back in early in the game, it looked like he was through for the day. What a great, gutsy performance. Yeah, I guess you expect great things from great players, and we got it from Steve Young yesterday.
Considering he was removed for being ineffective.
Yeah. Here's Harvey Williams taking it up to the 20-yard line. Darian Gordon comes up there to trip him. Under a minute to play now in the half.
Both teams with 2 timeouts, neither one seemingly prone to use them. The Raiders some 80 yards away from the goal line, and the Chargers, well, now they decide to take their timeout.
Yeah, it's pretty hard offensively to take one when you're down at your own 20-yard line, and the Chargers, after thinking about it, let some time expire, and then figure, hey, it's 2nd and 8 at the 20. We better start conserving them right here.
Well, you have a great return man, too, if they could force the punt. You have Darian Gordon back there that's brought them back all the way in the past.
Right, and a great field goal kicker in John Carney.
Exactly. You don't pass up the opportunity to put the ball in Gordon's hand one more time. You see the number 22 on the helmet worn by all of the San Diego Chargers. That's in memory of their running back Rodney Culver. He and his wife Sharon were killed in the crash of the ValueJet flight back in May, and in his honor and memory, all the Chargers wearing number 22 on the side of their helmet.
2 years, 2 tragedies. 2 tragedies here in San Diego. David Griggs killed in an automobile accident in January of '95. 2 good players, but 2 classy people.
Yeah, that's the shame of it is, especially with somebody like, Rodney Culver, and you didn't know much about him as a player. He played at Notre Dame and kind of a special teamers and backup running back here, and then you learn about these people and what people they were. He and his wife, after the fact, unfortunately.
Yeah, they left behind a couple of children, and they've established a trust fund for those children. If you're interested in doing anything about that, why don't you just contact the Charger organization. I'm sure they'll be able to give you the info.
2nd down, and now the Raiders, after the Chargers had taken a timeout, the Raiders need to take a timeout to discuss what's going on here. Bugle and Kennan huddling with Hostetler. So coming up at the half, Chris will have the halftime highlights for you. A lot of great games in the NFL yesterday, comebacks and electrifying plays. And then, as we mentioned, I guess we'll have to give Steve Young maybe a gift certificate from a clothier or something, having appeared for the 2nd time in a row at halftime. But Steve yesterday getting the start, coming out, coming back, winning the game. And the report from San Francisco, Elvis Gerbach was shaken up yesterday, and he might not be available to play this week. And so it'll be Steve again, clearly.
We'll try and have more on Stan Humphries when we get the word. We were told he probably would not be back. He seemed to indicate that to Lynn Swan on the sidelines, but we'll get a definitive report on Stan Humphries, who went out with a banged-up shoulder here early. So 2nd and 7 now after back-to-back timeouts. Oakland up by 3 as the first half draws to a conclusion. It's caught by Fenner, and he is tackled inbounds at the 25-yard line. That will compel San Diego to take another timeout here. It'll be 3rd down and 2. The clock, for some reason, had not even started. A little high percentage underneath pass for Fenner.
Well, it actually burned off 6 seconds. I believe there was 52 at the start of that play. Now it's down to 46.
I thought he had signaled that he was inbounds.
They must have ruled him out.
Keep running. Here's Kaufman. It's Moot now. He picks up the first down and takes it to the 42-yard line. And this half will end with Oakland having the football. And now the Raiders can think about getting in field goal position. And they take a timeout.
Napoleon Kaufman is just one of those football players that when he has the football, everybody kind of just scooches up a little bit on their seat and gets on the edge of it. Napoleon Kaufman is an exciting running back, and if you look at that yards per carry against the other leaders in the National Football League, when you're in rarefied air when you're up there at 6.8 yards per carry.
He came into that over 300 yards rushing. It isn't any paltry number. He's on having a good year. Put that in perspective. The league average is 3.8 per carry.
He's not a big guy. He's 5'9", 180 pounds. He's not the type of a back that's going to be your 25 carry per game guy. He's not a Ricky Waters. He's not an Emmitt Smith in that respect.
He'd like to be.
Yeah, he would like to be.
Tough. He really does.
But it's not where he's the most effective, and Mike White knows it.
Dave Adolph trying to get his defense to stiffen here and keep it 10-7 at the half. The Raiders are out of timeouts. None left. 39 seconds remaining in the half. Hostetler chased, looks for the sidelines, gets out of bounds. After a 9-yard gain, he crosses the 50 to the 49-yard line with 32 ticks left. Yeah, but he also conserved that one timeout that the Raiders have up there. And actually, they don't have a timeout. So he at least stopped the clock by moving the ball out of bounds and picked up good yardage. Bobby Ross, somehow or other, he always gets his football team prepared. He does it all. He almost wills them to play. Winner everywhere he's been, national champion, the NCAA with Georgia Tech, been to the Super Bowl here, coached at Maryland and the Citadel before going to Georgia Tech. 2nd and 1, and Haas going deep and dropped, almost hauled in by James Jett, who had a step, and there was some bumping with Terrence Shaw, but no flag. Or Terrence Shaw at least was looking back for the ball, and I think that is what kept the flag from flying. He had pretty good coverage. Jett had him by about a step. Shaw is showing some real good speed. Jett is the fastest player in the league this year. In the fastest man contest, and Shaw running right with him. Looks back before the contact is made, and that could have been called very easily. Yep. That should have been called.
Terrence Shaw got away with one right there. That looked like interference.
3rd and 1 at the 49-yard line, and Hostetler gets sacked at the 46 by Reuben Davis. And the clock, after being stopped momentarily for the sack, gets wound again. And San Diego has a timeout, but they're not calling it. For what reason, I don't know. At least they would have a chance to return it or block the punt, but they let the clock run out. Darren Gordon has returned 2 of them in his career. They left one on the wall as we reach the half. In San Diego, it's Oakland 10, San Diego 7. And we'll return after this message from the National Football League and a word from our ABC station.
Berman.
Week 8 in the NFL, 3 teams at or near the bottom almost pulled off huge upsets. 12 players had 2 or more touchdowns, and as Al told you, 2 coaches, Jim Mora, Dave Shula, gone at midseason. And it's the first time since 1962 we haven't had a head coach in the NFL with the last name of Shula. We begin our Sunday sojourn, though, with 2 head coaches in very good shape. Jimmy Johnson's 4-2 Dolphins, and Ray Rhodes' 4-2 Philadelphia Eagles.
We ain't got to yell about it, we got to see it in your eyes. We ain't got to yell about it, we got to see it in your eyes, baby.
You can see it in the eyes of quarterback Ty Detmer and wide receiver Irving Fryer. 4 times they hooked up for touchdowns. Fryer becomes the first player ever to score 4 TDs against his old team. 35-28 Eagles. All of this on Rhodes' 46th birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Winless Atlanta at Super Bowl champion Dallas. The Bucs try to pull a shocker up 28-25 under 2 to go with 2. Troy Aikman to Kelvin Martin right at the star. His second tour of duty with the Cowboys, 60 yards. He could go all the way. 32-28 Dallas. For the first time, the champs are over 500 for the season. Another team smelling upset, Cincinnati at San Francisco.
Everybody give us a chance and see what happens, huh?
Steve Tovar and the Bengals had a chance. Steve Young pulls up lame. First quarter, already playing injured. He's out. Second quarter, Elvis Grbac, all shook up with a shoulder injury. Out. Young back. Niners down 21-0, but the Niners come back. Young, a touchdown pass to tie with 2:08 to go. And then, a minute later, hobbling, storybook 15-yard touchdown. 28-21 Niners. Owner Eddie DeBartolo, one of the first to greet him in the locker room. And when we return, we'll talk with the hero, Steve Young. And Steve, wherever John Wayne is, you made him proud. You're the new member of the True Grit Club. We'll be back. The Raiders over the Bolts 10-7 at halftime. Game 2 of the World Series. The Braves keep on rolling. They shut out the Yankees 4-0 in the ball yard in the Bronx. The Crime Dog, with 3 RBIs, took a big bite out of Jimmy Key and company. Drove in the first 2 runs of the game. Greg Maddux, 8 innings of 6-hit shutout ball. The Braves have won 5 straight now in the postseason. Host Game 3 tomorrow night at home with Tommy Glavine going up against David Cohn. But as we move back to Al now in San Diego, certainly a man that understands being on center stage in big games like the World Series, like Super Bowls, Steve Young.
What an incredible performance yesterday, Chris, and we took a look at that tremendous run that ended the game, and Steve now joins us live from San Francisco. And Steve, the last time America saw you yesterday afternoon, you were very valiantly but very painfully crossing the goal line with that strained groin. How sore are you right now, and are you a definite starter against the Houston Oilers in the Astrodome on Sunday?
Yeah, I think I tried to play with it and got warmed up as the game went on, and it felt a lot better, but it's sore today, and I hope it's the kind of thing that I can play with, and each week it gets a little better.
Steve, you started the game yesterday, but when you came out, you clearly vented your frustration on the sideline. Was that more a case of being upset with the way you were performing, or were you mad that you were removed from the game at that point?
Well, I know George had told me that if I had trouble moving around that he was going to take me out, and I guess the frustration of the score at the time was 21-0, and I expect us to play a lot better. We've been up and down this year, and mostly up, but I want some more consistency out of myself and the rest of us, and I think by demanding that, hopefully we'll be able to do that down the stretch.
Let me ask you about your situation in San Francisco, because the team president, Carmen Policy, has stated publicly that they'd like to re-sign Elvis Grbac, who will be a free agent at the end of the year. The indication would be that he'd get backup money next year, but he'd get starters money the following year, and by extension, that means the 49ers are looking to replace you in 2 years. Has this whole scenario being played out in public privately fueled your own fire?
Well, I think the fuel is always there for a fire in the NFL. I mean, I've tried to pride myself on being a NFL MVP type of player, to play at that standard every year, and if I can just keep that up and stay uninjured, hopefully I can take care of business and do that. That's the standard I hold myself to, and hopefully keep that up for a long time.
And how important is it for you, Steve, to end your career as a 49er?
Well, I mean, you live in this city for long enough. I've been here 10 years, and you start to bleed that red and gold. So, I mean, I would love to do that. That's be very important to me, and especially the way I've been treated.
Steve, thank you. Congratulations on the victory yesterday. 2 weeks in a row. Steve Young, our halftime guest as we go back to New York, and Chris Berman.
All right, Al, thank you, and thank you, Steve. 35 years old, but Steve proving again that he is forever young. ABC's Monday Night Football is now on the web. Live feed from our stats computer at the game, or you can enter a spectacular 3D virtual sports bar. There's the address, our address for the second half, the Murph. Raiders lead the Chargers 10-7.
This message from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations. Back in San Diego, Jack Murphy Stadium, Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, and Lynn Swan. The Oakland Raiders trying to get to 500, leading 10-7 at the half. Stan Humphries hurt earlier, out. The quarterback gone for the night with a shoulder injury, a left shoulder, the non-throwing shoulder popping in and out. Sean Salisbury will guide them the rest of the way. And right now, Oakland will get the football as we start the third quarter. John Carney to kick it off. Napoleon Kaufman and Carl Kidd are back to receive for the Raiders. And Kidd hauls it in at the goal line. Good tackle at the 17-yard line. Kevin Ross, the veteran, now playing on special teams as well as in the defensive backfield, the longtime star for the Kansas City Chiefs in his 13th season.
And that is one thing that has worked well for San Diego. Their special teams have played very well. Kevin Ross left Kansas City after 9 years, a couple of years in Atlanta, and they've really come back to solidify this secondary for San Diego.
Raiders at the 17-yard line, 1st and 10. Is going to go deep, and it is picked off. Intercepted by Terrence Shaw. The pass intended for Jet. The play is alive. He's into Oakland territory, runs into his own man Harrison, and then Kaufman finally tackles him at the 44. And a flag comes in at the end of the play.
Junior Seau and Steve Wisniewski were kind of going at one another back about the 40-yard line. And Bobby Ross wants to get his guys off the field. I think Ron Blum's staff is taking the attitude, we don't need this and we're not going to tolerate it.
The Raiders love to take it deep.
Ooh, and I think right there is a good example of Jeff Hostetler. Boy, he is unhappy with James Jett.
He was saying, I think you got to go up and fight for that ball. It's our ball. Terrence Shaw just took it away from Jet.
Yeah, that's a major league chewing out.
That is big time. Here's a look at it. Shaw trailing Jet. The ball kind of over Jet's outside shoulder. And
15-yard face mask foul. Number 76, Oakland. 15 yards.
Oh, this one hurts.
That's Wisniewski.
Well, Wisniewski and Junior Seau were kind of locked up.
Now here's where Jet has got to go up and fight for that football. Granted, Terrence Shaw played it very well, got his left arm in there and kept Jet from doing a whole lot. But that was what Hostetler was upset about. He wanted more of a battle for that football from James Jett. Nothing personal. He just wanted to tell him he's got to go up and get it.
A good play by Shaw, though, because
terrific.
He forced Jett into a position where James could barely go up and try to fight for it. At the 29-yard line, 1st and 10 is Salisbury. Hands the ball to Russell, and he can't spin his way out of the arms of Chester McLaughlin, stopping him back at the line of scrimmage.
Well, McLaughlin is so active for the big man that he is, well over 300 pounds, and so quick, Dan.
Well, he's just a sensational athlete.
Loss of 2 yards.
Made it to the Pro Bowl for the Raiders, and Hostetler still seething on the Raider sideline.
2nd and 12 from the 31. Opening minutes, second half. Raiders lead by 3. Here they come on the blitz. It's a jailbreak. And it's still caught at the 21-yard line by Tony Martin with good coverage by Terry McDaniel.
Sean Salisbury doing a good job filling in for Stan Humphries. Under a little bit of pressure, he just kind of eased to the outside, kept it alive. And here comes Martin. Turns Daniel around, breaks it back. And well thrown.
And well thrown is right. I'm impressed. We've touched already on the fact that Sean Salisbury is not expecting to start. Surely didn't get much in the way of repetitions during practice. Most of his throwing comes on his scout team. And you wouldn't expect a guy to be as sharp as he is here. Now, let's guess what was wrong with that play.
On a 3rd and long one, the only guy not in motion was the center, Engel.
It's my ball, and I'm keeping it.
Part of the 73 offense, false start. 5 yards, with 3rd down.
Well, they may call it on Davis, but the only guy who wasn't in sync was the center. Lynn Swan for an update. Lynn?
Al Stan Humphries supplemented shoulder. It's the same injury he had in 1992, the last game of the season against Seattle. In that case, they came back, scoped it, and he played in the playoff game. Now they popped it back into place, and tomorrow they'll evaluate it, see if it swells up. But he will be day-to-day and definitely not back tonight.
And their next game is next Sunday at Seattle. It's 3rd down and 6 after the penalty. Juggled and nearly picked off and incomplete. Tony Martin covered by Terry McDaniel.
Well thrown ball again by Salisbury. And Tony Martin, who really has gotten beyond his troubles catching the football, and that was a knock on him when he came up with the Miami Dolphins. He dropped a lot of footballs. He dropped quite a few here in '94, but all of a sudden he worked long and hard with Jerry Sullivan, and he has really developed fine hands. But this was a perfectly thrown football that should have been caught.
Well, he got everything he wanted. He got the inside release on McDaniel.
Now a 44-yard attempt by John Carney. And Carney's kick hits the upright and bounces back toward the goal line. So John Carney, who comes into the game as the most accurate field goal kicker in the history of the league, 80.4%, hits the upright. You saw Chuck Prefer, and they will get the ball back at the 34-yard line. Will the Oakland Raiders when we come back. .13 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Oakland on top 10-7. The Raiders have a 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line. Hostetler drops it off over the middle for Derek Finner. Junior Seau is there to make the tackle, along with Kurt Gouveia. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper is just what the doctor ordered. And Liberty Mutual Insurance, helping people live safer, more secure lives. That's the freedom of liberty. Second and 4. Oakland at its own 41-yard line. Kaufman on a counter takes it up to the 49-yard line, and a 1st down tackled by the safety Kevin Ross. Well, we've seen Kaufman tonight, and we've seen Harvey Williams. We haven't seen Joe Aska, who figured to see a good deal of action, bothered with a foot injury. But Aska is a 2nd-year guy who's averaging 5.5 yards a carry, but he's just biding his time on the sideline.
I think Kaufman has been getting it done, too. I can understand going with him for the majority of the carries. He has been very explosive tonight.
1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. Hostetler fires to Brown, and Tim makes the catch at the 47-yard line, a gain of 4. Gouveia makes the hit.
There's a guy that's been relatively quiet tonight since the opening drive is Tim Brown. He was a factor on that first touchdown march by the Raiders, but since then San Diego has pretty effectively closed him down.
If you do not take him out of the offense, you are going to get hurt.
But taking him out is something that's easier talked about than it is executed.
2nd and 5 at the 46-yard line. Hostetler deep for Brown, but Brown well covered by Darian Gordon, and a flag is down on the other side of the field at the 34-yard line.
Well, Jeff Hostetler saw single coverage Darian Gordon making his first start in over a year, lined up on Tim Brown. He changed the play, tried to hit Brown on a fly, and Darian Gordon did a good job on Brown.
But on the other side of the field, we get an interference call against
illegal contact, 29 defense, 5 yards, first down.
That's Terrence Shaw. Probably rode his guy beyond the 5-yard zone that these guys are allowed. He's locked up against Jet. Yes, and you can see he rode him just probably 7 yards. And starting a couple of years ago, something these guys were all over a lot closer. And as you can see, Stan has changed into street clothes on the Chargers sideline.
First down at the 41-yard line. Here's Harvey Williams to Brown with a lot of room on the other side. Tim Brown for a first down at the 28-yard line, tackled by Seau, a 13-yard gain.
Oakland loves this play. They have ever since Tim Brown came up out of Notre Dame. He's a good runner after he gets the football in his hands. They use it all the time. And when he gets around the corner, he's not looking to step out of bounds either. He broke that back across the middle instead of easing to the outside like a lot of outside receivers would. He took it across the middle and got more yardage out of it. He comes to play at 100%.
Tim Brown, the 1987 Heisman Trophy winner at Notre Dame. In the 28-yard line, this is Kaufman, and Seau takes him down in the open field at the 26-yard line. And Junior hurt.
Junior got hit by his own guy. Gouveia came up to put a hit on Kaufman. Kaufman ducked it, and Junior took it right in the face.
And Kurt hurt as well.
Junior with the initial tackle on Kaufman. Really good open field tackle there by Seau. And he takes it helmet to helmet, Gouveia to Seau. And that hurts Junior.
So Junior Seau walks off under his own power. Kurt Gouveia stays in the game. 2nd down and 9. They work on Junior. Gouveia, who was also shaken, able to stay in the game. And Patrick Sapp, a rookie out of Clemson, comes in to take Junior's spot on 2nd down and 9. And the catch is made by Fenner. And he's tackled at the 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 1. But Glenn Young was inactivated before the game. They thought he might be able to play. Dwayne Gordon, another linebacker, was hurt. They are at the moment down to 4 linebackers. Lewis Bush a starter, Kurt Gouveia a starter, and Patrick Sapp a rookie. As you look at Gordon, who has sprained his left ankle before and is doubtful in terms of playing again tonight.
Sapp more of a strong side linebacker, and they're going to have to play him probably weak side, and that's not good.
And now Gouveia comes out of the game as well on 3rd down and 2, and Fenner leaps across the pile and picks up a first down.
I don't think Gouveia is hurt. He's just out on the short yardage. I think we'll see him.
Although why on earth would you take your middle linebacker out on short yardage if you didn't want to? I mean, if you didn't have to.
Well, now they're walking him off.
If Junior Seau and Gouveia don't get back in this game, Dave Adolph is going to try to hide Sapp. Sapp is the last guy that he wants in that ball game. A rookie in this situation. He hasn't been getting a lot of reps.
And they have Arnold Ale, another young linebacker from UCLA, 57 in the game as well. First down from the 17-yard line. Oakland just does get the play off. And Haas dumps one in traffic into the arms of Fenner. Inside the 10 for the touchdown. A flag comes in at the end of the play.
Tim Brown, the Raider blocker, came back to make a hit. He's involved somewhere where this flag happened.
And clearly it's against San Diego, as you saw the exultation of Jeff Hostetler.
5-yard face mask, number 21 of the defense. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
So Bobby Ross runs out of linebackers, and the Raiders are able to capitalize.
Fine running here by Fenner, and hard to tell who was out of position. There's the face mask right there. Number 21, Darian Gordon, getting it in there. Flag drops, but Fenner with some high-stepping, fine running in the traffic to get the touchdown.
Derek scores his 3rd touchdown of the season, 1 on a run, 2 on passes. And it's Cole Ford to attempt the extra point.
And the Raiders, in a very pivotal and critical midseason game, have taken a 10-point lead with 8:02 left in the third against the banged-up Chargers. Here's our Monday night credential football fact. The Raiders and the Chargers, the great rivalry, 74th game since the AFL was formed in 1960. 3,300 points have been scored. That's the most points in any team-against-team series involving the 8 original AFL teams. The Raiders and the Chargers, and they've played some beauties through the years. Oakland leading 17-7 as Andre Coleman hauls in the kickoff. A flag is thrown, and Coleman with a great run back all the way up to the 44-yard line, but a flag down back at the 22-yard line.
Andre Coleman, there is a penalty flag on the field.
Junior trying to walk it off and try to work his way back in the game. And the indication is it's against the Raiders.
Personal foul, low block, crashing into the wedge to break up the wedge. 46 of the kicking team, 15 yards, first down.
Carl Kidd. Well, that's a rare happening when you see the kickoff team being penalized. It's got to be a pretty violent effort.
Well, when you attack the wedge, you are not allowed to throw yourself into the knees. Take a look at the lower right-hand side. There it is, there. Mm-hmm. That is illegal. That rule was put in effect a couple of years ago.
Now Salisbury on first down throws, and they try to exploit the situation as they start with great field position. And Martin hauls it in for a first down on what is a very important drive now for San Diego, down by 10. 17-yard pickup.
Well thrown ball by Salisbury. Had that on a line.
And talk about a strong arm. Talk about getting to start with good field position. You get the good return by Coleman. Tack on the yardage on top of it. A completed pass, and already you're inside the...
After that penalty, the drive starts at the Oakland 41. Now with the 24, first down. It's a fumble. It is picked up by Pat Swilling. Inside the 40 with one guy to beat inside the 30, and Leonard Russell saves the touchdown.
Well, Chester McLaughlin either knew the snap count or was offside. One or the other. The Chargers are arguing that he was offside.
There's no flag, but boy, he was across the line quickly.
Chester was moving at the snap. He either knew the snap count or he was offside. I'm dying to see it. Here it is. There's McLaughlin. He is moving right on the snap of the... Is he across? Was he across before the snap of the ball? It looked like just sensational anticipation by McLaughlin.
Yeah, see if we can run it again at regular speed. It looked like he was there, but at regular speed, it'd be hard to call. Just regular speed. 77 might have even moved. Moten might have taken a little move down. In any event, there's no flag. And Pat Swilling hangs up a good return of the fumble.
His first takeaway since joining the Raiders, and now Seau is back in the game. But things are desperate and pretty critical for the Chargers right here. First down at the 17-yard line. Kaufman makes the catch underneath, and then a nice tackle is made by Terrence Shaw. Another look now at Chester McLaughlin as Shaw gets taken up on the play.
He's got a cramp in his right foot.
He's moving before the snap of the ball, and you can make an argument as to whether he was into the neutral zone or not, Frank, before the snap.
Well, it's so easy to see it that way. Right now they're looking at Terrence Shaw. He grabbed his right calf like he had a cramp in it, and I think that's probably what we're going to hear when we come back.
Here's Chester McLaughlin. He's reading Eric Moten right here, number 77. He's going to pull on the play, but watch how he rocks. McLaughlin is moving on Moten right there. You see Moten settle back in his stance. That's what Chester is reading, and he gets across that line of scrimmage and makes that play blow up in the Chargers' faces.
It would have been great had San Diego been called for illegal movement.
That would have been a false start on Eric Moten, and that certainly would have been the best thing that could have happened to the Chargers. Courtney Hall not suiting up tonight.
Well,
he's got a bad knee and a bad shoulder, and he's going to have to rest for a couple weeks. Moten there, number 77. He certainly feels that Chester McLaughlin jumped it. I'm sure the Chargers feel wrong.
You saw Shaw come out of the game. Mark Montroy in at cornerback. 2nd down and 10. Hostetler will try to run it out of bounds, and Jeff with a stiff arm against Willie Clark at the 12-yard line. There's a flag down back at the 23.
After Willie Clark, he almost got Lynn Swan. Lynn, you got to be alert down there.
And the Raiders, who had gotten into the red zone, will now come back out of it, depending on the option exercised here by San Diego.
Holding. 76 offense. 10 yards. Repeat 2nd down.
Wisniewski.
Steve Wisniewski is operating under a microscope. Every official in this league is well aware of his reputation. There he is, right in front of Hostetler, working against Marco Coleman.
10-yard penalty back to the 27. It's 2nd down and 20. 6 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Draw to Kaufman. Squirts out of the backfield. Coleman makes the tackle at the 25-yard line, setting up a 3rd down and 18.
Napoleon Kaufman does more with less. Running back I've seen in a long time.
Well, he's
180 pounds. He's strong. He's quick.
he moves the way you would expect the #1 draft choice to move.
Great numbers at University of Washington and everything they expected when they took him #1 a year ago.
3rd and 18 now from the 25. All the receivers are set to the left. Hostetler into the corner and throws it out of bounds.
Hostetler went down. Chris Mims, he got cut by Napoleon Kaufman and landed right on the leg of Hostetler.
And a flag is down.
Well, I thought Jeff was going to get hurt on that play.
Kaufman lined up against Mims is what a mismatch.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 94. Quarterback away. Which is illegal. 15 yards. Half the distance. 1st down.
Oh, I thought he was blocked by Kaufman.
He ran right through the block, and I guess what they're calling is he went right at the knees of Hostetler.
This is Mims right here on the bottom of your screen, coming from the left. There's Kaufman. Oh, that's impossible to call that roughing the quarterback. How? What is he looking at?
Hostetler is lucky those cleats came out of the turf.
Jeff is very lucky, but how do you penalize Mims for that?
Killer penalty, too, because it was a 3rd and 18, and now it's an automatic 1st down as Fenner gets taken down by Coleman.
And off to number 34 with Harry Fenner. The stop by Marco Coleman.
I can only assume that the official thought that was an intent to injure, but he's fighting through a block. Again, Napoleon Kaufman goes down, hits Mims right in the thigh. That's a very bizarre call.
Kaufman went very low, which you have to do when you're that small, and it spun Mims around right into the legs of Hostetler.
That's a flag that should have stayed in the pocket.
2nd and 11 from the 13-yard line. And Fenner takes it to the 9-yard line. It's a flag that can also mean the end of it to San Diego tonight if Oakland can get into the end zone here. Oakland leading by 10 with 4:20 to play in the 3rd quarter. Tonight, the Oakland Raiders coming into the game doing a terrific job on the ground, and that is the case tonight. And San Diego unable to get untracked on the ground recently, and that is again the case tonight.
Recently being all of 1996.
Right.
Averaging 91 yards a game coming into tonight. Far below their normal average.
3rd and 6. Critical play for the San Diego defense here. And Hostetler calls a timeout.
I don't think he called the timeout before the clock expired.
They gave it to him.
Yeah, they did. Looked to me like he still had his hands under center when it clicked 0.
Oakland by 10. Third down and 6 now for Oakland at the 8-yard line. They lead by 10. Raiders just barely getting the timeout before the play clock expired. Hostetler under center on 3rd down and 6. Crowd still furious over the penalty call and booing. And Hostetler gets taken down by Coleman at the 15-yard line.
And Coleman saved a touchdown. Hostetler saw the opening on the left side. He could have walked in, but Coleman makes the play. Right here, Hoss goes, and he's got 6.
Well, Marco played it very smart. He came around to the inside on a loop, and instead of just rushing willy-nilly past the quarterback, came in under control, was able to slide off and make the tackle. That was a veteran play by Marco Coleman.
Now Cole Ford, a 32-yard field goal. Jeff Gossett to hold it. And Ford kicks it through, his second field goal of the night. But the Chargers are able to stay within 2 touchdowns, which would not have been the case had Oakland been able to get into the end zone. The Raiders now lead it by a score of 20-7 with 3:12 to play in the 3rd.
Now they're looking at one of Junior Seau's knees.
So the Chargers, banged up at linebacker, banged up at quarterback now with Stan Humphries, and coming off their bye week. They'd like to have their bye week next week.
You haven't brought up Arizona State yet, have you?
Well, I was waiting. Thank you, Frank.
Well, I'm giving you in your opening. They played well.
Overtime victory over the Troy boys this week.
Yeah, our guys played well.
Some questionable calls in that game, weren't there?
On both sides. But a well-earned and a well-deserved victory by the Sun Devils. Who's to argue?
Not I.
Cole Ford to kick it off. Taken at the 5-yard line by Andre Coleman. And he's tackled up at the 22-yard line. And another Charger is down. That is Troy Sinkowitz. Yep. Sinkowitz is the backup to Tony Birdie at right tackle, in addition to playing on special teams. Well, the Chargers coming into the game with a mark of 4-2 in a division that right now may be the toughest in the National Football League. Another look here at Ford. And he gets a little shaken. Oh, yeah, holding his left knee in a collision with Hendricks.
Ford looked like he was going to reload and go after him again, and injured himself in the attempt.
Taking a long look at Sinkowitz, nothing quite as violent as that wedge and a kickoff return. You could ever capture the noise
right there. He hyperextends his left knee. That's what happens. Ford, a classic hyperextension of his left knee. He got that son of a gun way back underneath him.
Sinkowitz is up now.
That old son of a gun.
Sinkowitz comes off. Cole Ford, if he could not kick, the backup kicker is the quarterback. The backup quarterback, Billy Joe Hobart. But Ford with a little smile as he was walking on the sideline. There he is, Hobart, who started for Hostetler in the first 2 games of the season.
Well, Cole Ford, a kicker, was going back in there to get another shot. I think he's best leave the hitting to someone else.
To get him a designated hitter.
I don't think he spends a lot of time on the heavy bag.
San Diego has it at the 21-yard line, 1st and 10. Salisbury sets up the screen to Leonard Russell. Good blocking out in front. He gets ridden down to the 31-yard line, close to a 1st down. Rob Frederickson makes the stop.
Chester McLaughlin was really off on the snap count there. If I'm Sean Salisbury, I start mixing up my snap count. he may have fallen into a rhythm here of going on 2 or going on 3, whatever it might be, but Chester is certainly anticipating it. Oh, and we had another rock at the line of scrimmage. That time Joe Cacuzo, the right guard, leaned back a little bit. Here comes Chester.
Now Russell. And hard-earned 2 yards up to the 33-yard line.
We've been seeing that all night, Dan. The rocking and the movement. They've called several of them. Courtney Hall, their center, the signal caller, not active for tonight's game. They're going to give him a little bit of a rest, a shoulder and a knee. And Greg Engel is in there. He's new to this offensive line. They really didn't know whether he was going to go until this week. And he just hasn't had enough time to work with it. Makes a big difference.
Oh, it makes a big difference when you have a new center, but the other guys just have to tighten it up. They can't be making it easy on the Raiders by giving things away.
2nd and 9. Salisbury under duress. Incomplete. Intended for Mitchell. 3rd down and 9. Monday night. Salisbury on 3rd and 9. Hits Fletcher. And he's taken out of bounds at the 41, and he's bumped out short of the first down with 1.5 minutes to play in the 3rd period.
41 for Will Fletcher.
Crowd starting to get a little vocal, but I think this is too early to think about going for it.
Yep, 16.5 minutes left in the game.
Well, we have not yet seen an appearance by the punting team.
All right. I think we will.
Reluctantly.
Well, Darren Bennett runs out. I would call this confusion on the part of the Chargers.
Right, you've got Salisbury out there, and you have Bennett out there.
And that's going to cost a timeout.
You have 2 complete teams on the field, the offensive team and the punting team.
A little confusion on the San Diego side of the field. That decision has to be made and get the proper unit on the field. We had parts of both units on.
So it will be 4th down and 1 as San Diego has to take a timeout. Let's us welcome the newest ABC affiliate, WBKP in Calumet and Marquette, Michigan, joining the ABC television network and carrying Monday Night Football for the first time. Welcome, gang.
Marquette up on the Upper Peninsula.
The UP.
Home of Northern Michigan University, I believe.
Beautiful shot. That looks like it looks like a spaceship in the middle of Mission Valley.
They're going to have some renovation on this stadium. It's going to go to 71,000 in time for Super Bowl 32.
Here's the Goodyear Blimp Eagle providing the shots tonight. It's been a beautiful night in San Diego, but a lot of wind and heat in Southern California, and it's fire season.
Whoa, they are going to go for it.
And they will at least line up on 4th and 1 to go for it from the 41, and they will go for it, and it's a bootleg after the fake, and they pick up the first down and a lot more on the pass to Shannon Mitchell.
Complete to number 89, Shannon Mitchell.
So down 20-7, I guess Bobby Ross felt I've got to make something happen right here.
And you go to a guy that doesn't show up on anybody's charts as being a featured kind of guy, only the 4th catch of the year for Shannon Mitchell. So the Raiders not expecting him to be the go-to guy in a 4th down situation. Nicely done by the Chargers.
1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Under a minute to play in the 3rd. Oakland up by 13. Under pressure from McLaughlin. Salisbury's pass intended for his new favorite receiver and best friend Mitchell is incomplete. 2nd and 10.
Right now, San Diego and their offensive line is having real problems with Chester McLaughlin. McLaughlin has taken it upon himself to play this game in San Diego's backfield, and the Chargers are a little bit helpless in keeping him from being back there. He beats a double team, Engel the second guy.
Now keep in mind that Eric Moten is also playing hurt tonight. Knee and a shoulder. And on his right side is Greg Engel, in, for all intent and purposes, a rookie in there at center, replacing a real fine one in Courtney Hall.
And the Raiders take a timeout here. Well, when the rumor mill was in full force before the trading deadline and Jeff George rumors were flying left and right, there was some talk about George maybe coming to Oakland. One of the guys they were talking about was Chester McLaughlin.
And you can see why he would be the subject of trade rumors. Very few teams in the league would not like to try to get their hands on number 91.
And I guess one of the guys who also thought he was being kicked around was Anthony Smith, and that's one of the reasons supposedly that he took a hike and walked out of the Raiders organization and left them kind of in the lurch.
And he's on a 4-game suspension.
See right there, only 29 yards rushing, the significant number there for San Diego.
29 rushing yards, and their second-team quarterback being forced to play from middle of the first period on. Second down and 10 from the 35 after the Oakland timeout. 4-man rush, short drop, pass is incomplete, and a flag comes in because Martin was held up by McDaniel.
Well, Martin just threw up his hands in frustration. McDaniel all over him. The short drop by Salisbury. McDaniel's a who, me?
Holding 36 defense, 5 yards, and an automatic first down.
That's a good call. Martin just on a quick slant in, and Terry McDaniel all over him, and it's a good call. One step up, now break it to the inside. McDaniel actually beaten, had to go with the hands to Martin. Salisbury under a lot of pressure. That ball had to be thrown in, would have been incomplete if McDaniel hadn't have committed the foul.
First down, McLaughlin was over and got back, and then Russell gets taken down in the backfield. Good tackle by Rob Fredrickson, dragging him to the ground at the 32 for a loss of 2.
Well, a classic look there of Salisbury changing up his snap cadence and getting Chester on the move. The only thing that went wrong when he's over and he is across that line of scrimmage, that's a perfect time for the center just to go ahead and snap it. Chester got back, but for a while he was in the neutral zone as a center. A really smart thing to do is, even though it's not the proper snap count, snap the ball and take your 5 yards.
Second and 12, Salisbury to Jones, who gets initially popped by Lorenzo Lynch and then taken down at the 31 as the third quarter ends with the score Oakland 20, San Diego 7. And Monday Night Football returns after this for ABC station. Well, in San Diego today, because of the Santa Ana winds and the dry brush, that's a live shot. Our affiliate KGTV here telling us 2,400 acres have been blackened already in a region of the Elfin Forest north of San Diego, as Tony Martin makes the catch. And Martin, as the fourth quarter begins, is out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. Terry McDaniel with the coverage, and the San Diego Chargers with a first and goal after a 3rd and 12 at the 32.
Well, Terry McDaniel is very good in man coverage. Tony Martin is having a terrific year. He makes a little move to the inside, takes it to the outside, gets McDaniel in trouble with his feet, and perfectly thrown by Salisbury. He has McDaniel beaten to the outside and well delivered by Salisbury.
And San Diego's going to take a timeout. That's their second, so just one remaining as we start the fourth quarter, and the Raiders leading by 13.
Welcome to Freedom in the Air, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places. Week 7 showed that a high-powered air attack is no passing fancy. It's what wins games in the NFL. What teams combined for 7 touchdowns through the air? Stay tuned. The Lions and the Raiders lit up the scoreboard with 7 touchdown passes, and Oakland's 4 scoring tosses helped give them a 37-21 win.
14:39 left in the fourth quarter. The San Diego Chargers trying to trim the Oakland lead. Raiders on top 20-7, and a first and goal for the Chargers inside the 2-yard line. Three tight ends in the formation, and Russell gets taken down for a loss at the 3-yard line.
Hayden, rather, as Mike Jones makes the tackle. Aaron Hayden hit by Jones as he took the handoff. It'll be second down and goal. Fred Whittingham, the defensive coordinator.
Well, that Raiders defense is stuffing the run offense of the San Diego Chargers.
Just perfectly played by Mike Jones. Shannon Mitchell comes across, tries to make the block, and Mike Jones, just perfect leverage. Got the shoulder underneath and drives him right back into the ball. Just textbook.
Second and goal now from the 4. Russell. And as he turns the corner, he's taken out of bounds at the 3-yard line by Mike Morton, and a flag goes down at the 7-yard line.
Mike Morton was the Raider in the vicinity there. Mike Morton had that left hand up around the face mask, and it's going to go against the Raiders. This drive of San Diego's now has been aided by a couple of penalties against the Raiders. Terry McDaniel with the holding that gave them a first down.
Starting to run, 5-yard face mask foul, number 50 defense. Half the distance to the goal, repeat second down.
Remember, the 5-yard variety is not a personal foul. It doesn't carry the automatic first down with it.
That's number 50. Gets the hand in there first, spins the head around. When that head comes around like that, it's going to bring the flag.
And his letting go of it on his way down and not dragging him down by it is what saved him from getting the personal foul variety.
Russell and Hayden both in the backfield now on second down and goal. Fake to Hayden. Salisbury under duress, and he gets taken down by Mike Jones at the 14-yard line.
Mike Jones with another big play, and Salisbury didn't even have a chance to throw it away.
Well, Eric Moten, the left guard, he comes out, and it's his assignment to block Mike Jones. And he does it.
Well, he's been playing hurt. We talked about it all night.
You got to hit a guy a little harder than that.
That's a 310-pound man trying to block a very agile athlete.
Third and goal back at the 12. Salisbury guns it to the goal line. It is caught there by Martin, but he does get in. He gets in for the touchdown. He broke the plane.
Wow. The official right on the line of scrimmage. He was right there.
He had possession at the goal line, and that is a touchdown.
Martin continues his work against the Raiders.
Call made by the back judge, Al Jury, and he is the judge and jury right there. No appeal. Touchdown.
No, but it will be reviewed up here.
Again and again.
Tony Martin has turned into one of the premier receivers in this league.
I think Kenny Wolf, our producer, Craig Janoff, our director, I think they might serve us up a little appellate action.
As Carney boots it through, that is Tony Martin's 9th touchdown catch of the season. He leads the league in that department. And with 13:05 left in the 4th, it is now Oakland 20 and San Diego 14. So Sean Salisbury had a first and goal at the 2, and then a third and goal at the 12, and hits Tony Martin right on the goal line for the touchdown. So it's 20-14. After the kickoff, we'll take another look at the play as Carney will put it in the air. Kenny Shedd and Carl Kidd back to receive. 9-yard line, Carl Kidd. Past the 30, good run back, and finally taken out of bounds by Kevin Ross up at the 40. Another look at the TD now.
Here's the one look at it. It's hard to tell from that. The official right on the line of scrimmage. He raised his hands on the coverage towards Larry Brown. The
Oakland Raiders have the football at the 40-yard line. They lead by 6 early in the fourth quarter. Hostetler stays in the pocket, hits Hobbs, and he's hit immediately by Junior Seau.
I think Junior's all right.
Let's go back and take one last look. Here's Martin on the goal line. You can see the football right there in his left arm. But over here, take a look. There's Al Jury straddling the goal line in perfect position. You can see that line of sight right down the goal line. He makes the call that the ball in Martin's left hand broke the plane. Thus a touchdown.
2nd and 7. And trying to squirt through. John Perella stops Napoleon Kaufman. Well, a great night at San Diego Stadium that we showed earlier, some scenes, and there it is, another live shot from the Elfin Forest area that's north of San Diego, and it's that time of year, unfortunately, in Southern California with the high winds and the dry brush and a lot of fires in the Los Angeles area today. And this one here consuming more than 2,400 acres north of San Diego. 3rd down and 6 now for the Raiders at the 44-yard line. Foss chased and is able to throw it away, and a flag is down at the line of scrimmage at the 44-yard line. Sean Lee was across the line. Was he induced or not is the question. He was not induced.
98 defense, offside, 5 yards, repeat 3rd down.
Sean Lee trying to get in on McLaughlin's acting a little early there, Dan.
Well, let's realize that these guys are on the sidelines watching one another. I'm sure Sean Lee was watching Chester and watching the breaks he was getting, the advantage he was getting. It's safe to say Jeff Hostetler, pretty adept with his years in the league of mixing up his snap count.
And he's got a good hard count, too. Uses it very sparingly.
3rd and 1 at the 49. Stepping up is Haas, hits ground. Big first down to the San Diego 41-yard line.
And I don't know how many times tonight Hostetler has kept the play alive by stepping back up into the pocket, easing out to the side. He can buy time just about as good as any quarterback in the league. And he's had to do it tonight, and he's been able to do it.
Well, what helped him out there was great blocking from his 2 guards. Gogan and Wisniewski and Barrett Robbins at center. They sealed it up at the line of scrimmage, gave Haas some place to go by stepping towards the line.
.50 left in the 4th. Kaufman slides to the left and takes it to the 38-yard line, a gain of 3. Junior Seau makes the tackle. Jeff Hostetler makes a tremendous difference to the Raiders. When Jeff has started for them, 29-18, and when he hasn't, 1-7. There are the numbers tonight.
Those are
67%.
Those are new contract numbers.
Well, I think it's also indicative not just of Jeff's play, but how the other Raider players respond to his presence. Like all really great players, he makes those around him better.
2nd down and 7. Hostetler hits Harvey Williams, seeks that first down, stays in bounds, and gets it. Tackled at the 28-yard line by Kurt Gouveia. First down, Oakland. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Miller Lite, American Light Lager Gold Medal winner at the 1996 World Beer Cup. All the team members at Saturn, a different kind of company, a different kind of car. Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most. And Coca-Cola in the NFL Red Zone for fans who eat football, sleep football, and drink Coca-Cola. First down at the 27-yard line. 20-14 Oakland. 9:20 to play. Williams. Gain of a yard or so. Gouveia with the tackle. The Raiders are off next week. Their next game is 2 weeks from tonight. A Monday Night Football game from Oakland. Denver at Oakland. the Raiders have played 19 consecutive Monday night road games, and Al Davis has not watched his team play a home game on Monday night since 1985. There it is, the remaining schedule. The Denver game on the 4th, then at Tampa, Minnesota, at Seattle, Miami, and we have them again against Kansas City and Marcus Allen on December the 9th. 2nd and 8. Hostetler floating one, but breaking off the pattern to the inside was James Jett.
That time San Diego, a full-blown blitz. Hostetler looking for Jett to break to the outside. He just had to throw it away. Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator for the Chargers, a few more sophisticated blitzes tonight than they've shown in the past. Hostetler having to get rid of it. And that's what he was complaining about, the shot in the face.
Dave Adolph, at one time, Dave was an Oakland assistant coach.
Been around Kansas City, Cleveland. A good one.
3rd and 8 now. Play clock down to 1.
Another blitz.
Haas throws, dropped by Fenner. Had an easy first down. He only needed another yard after the grab. Instead, it's 4th down, and Cole Ford will come in to attempt about a 43-yard field goal.
Ooh, that's one Fenner knows he should have had. Hostetler under duress with the blitz. Put it right where he should put it. 6.
Meanwhile, timeout is called here before the field goal attempt by Ford. Cole Ford will try to make it a 9-point lead here as he attempts a 43-yard field goal. Again, Ford winning the job from Jeff Jager, and his longest this season is 38 yards.
Keep in mind, he had that hyperextended knee earlier.
The left knee. Gossett to hold it. Spotting it at the 33-yard line. And Cole Ford extends the lead to 9. There's a flag down against the Raiders.
Holding 50 on the kicking team. 10 yards. Repeat 4th down.
Huge penalty. Mike Morton. So instead of a 9-point lead, you're looking at now a 53-yard attempt if that's what they want to do. And Jeff Hostetler summing up the feeling on the Raiders sideline, and now they get guys on and off the field in a hurry. Cole Ford goes off, and Gossett comes in to pooch punt it.
Makes a lot of sense. If you can make it, you don't want to block here. If you miss, San Diego's going to take the ball over at the 36-yard line.
They're going to take a 5-second penalty here by letting the play clock expire.
Yeah, they couldn't care less.
Yeah, they'd actually take it over at the 43-yard line because you bring it back to where they attempt to kick from. And delay of the game is the call here. With 8:25 remaining. Darian Gordon, who ran one back earlier this season for a touchdown, 14.2 yards per punt return. That is the best in history at the moment with those who've returned at least 75 punts.
I don't think you'll get to pad that number much here unless there's some type of a mistake by the Raiders.
Gossett floats one into the arms of Gordon, who fair catches it at the 16-yard line. So the Chargers will take over there with 8:17 to play in the 4th quarter.
Ooh, boy, that was an important 3 points to take off the board.
Very.
Not a thing of cosmetic beauty tonight, this football game, but there has been some real heavy hitting. Some brutal hitting.
So Sean Salisbury out of football last year.
broadcaster.
Yep, a guy who's been a sometime starter in a long and relatively undistinguished playing career. Tries to guide them from behind and starts by giving it to Russell, who gets tripped up by McDaniel and is tackled at the 20-yard line after a gain of 5.
Pretty good effort there by Leonard Russell, huh? Being undercut by that tackle by McDaniel, coming down and still digging and diving for some extra yardage.
Pretty good agility for a man this big.
I guess so. Keep in mind,
40 pounds.
look at this, coming back down and still pumping it forward for a couple of more yards.
Second down, 6 at the 20-yard line. Salisbury throws and it's dropped by the tight end Shannon Mitchell. Third down and 6 coming up.
Both teams have had a lot of drops tonight. Salisbury right on target once again. Actually, Salisbury started in Seattle, went up to Canada for a couple of years, and we had him in a playoff game up at Minnesota 3 or 4 years ago.
Against Washington. And the Redskins won it handily. Third down and 6 at the 20-yard line. Blitz gets the pass off. Coleman makes the catch. Big first down at the 29-yard line.
Andre Coleman playing with a very sore hamstring tonight. Takes a real fine catch. That ball had a lot on it, and he just looked up and he almost had to catch it in self-defense. But he gets the first down.
Every first down that the Chargers pick up here on plays like this.
Watch this now. This is not easy. He had just turned to look at the ball, and Salisbury put it right in his hands.
But every time they move the ball, you think about that field goal that had to come off the scoreboard.
First and 10, and that's incomplete. Drove into a lot of traffic intended for Tony Martin. McDaniel with the coverage. Dan Humphries injured his shoulder, his left shoulder in the first quarter. He's been out since that point. And Sean Salisbury, who's played with Seattle, Indianapolis, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and Minnesota, trying to guide them to a win.
McDaniel went up for it. Tony Martin ran right through him. Didn't even see McDaniel, but off the fingertips, a wild throw by Salisbury.
Second and 10 at the 30. Fake to Russell. Goes the other way, and that pass is behind Martin and incomplete. Third and 10, McDaniel with the coverage.
That's the timing off just a little bit on that. Once again, we talked about his repetitions during the week. He probably didn't have very many of them. And if he could have released this ball right here, he's just a little late. And getting back into the play is McDaniel.
Salisbury tonight, 240 yards in relief of Humphries and 2 touchdowns. And he's hit 8 different receivers. Third and 10 from the 30. Good protection, and then it's knocked down by Rob Fredrickson. He tried to get it into Omar Ellison, and it's 4th down.
Not just good coverage. There was plenty of time for Salisbury to get rid of the pass, but the coverage prevented it. He finally had to let it go before the sack. The good coverage by the Raiders. Had a lot of time.
Darren Bennett now with Darrell Hobbs back to receive it. And the Aussie sends one to the 32-yard line. Fair caught there by Darrell Hobbs. Only a 38-yard boot with 6:35 left in regulation.
Well, that's not one of his better ones.
No, but at least it was unreturnable because of the height on it. But now, again, a great deal of pressure placed on Junior Seau and the rest of the Chargers defense. Almost certainly any type of a Raiders score almost squeezes them out.
Well, the Raiders came into this game third in the league in rushing the football with the second-ranked offense. They'd like to be able to run it now.
It becomes even more vital for them to stop them earlier because San Diego only has 1 timeout left from the 33-yard line. Haas setting up,
going deep and too deep and almost picked off by Harrison. Tim Brown, the intended receiver. Well covered.
One Haas was just throwing away, and he almost threw an interception with it.
You hate to put that much air under a ball that you're just trying to throw away.
Harrison with good coverage on Brown. Picked him up, coming across. Haas read it. Tried to throw it away and almost got the INT.
Raiders trying to take advantage, hoping that San Diego was going to overplay the run. They were all over that. Good double coverage.
2nd and 10. 6:28 to play. Oakland leading by 6. Kaufman cuts to the outside, taken down by Harrison. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Dave Adolph, and he came into tonight. He had the 30th ranked defense in the league. They have not played that way tonight. They've had some big moments. And they're looking at one right now. They need to get the ball back to the offense.
3rd down, call it 10 now from the 33-yard line. No gain on the last play. Sayal blitzes, they pick him up, Haas throws, and Brown fell down, and a flag goes down. Darian Gordon with the coverage.
Well, there's a lot of bumping, and it was long past the 5-yard marker. Darian Gordon trying to cover Tim Brown by himself.
I'll bet you, and they,
on the blitz.
He picked up the flag and threw it again, and that means there's going to be a second penalty here as well.
And that's sportsmanlike conduct in all probability.
Interference.
And sportsmanlike conduct.
Yep.
When will they learn?
Pass interference, 21 defense. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, 21 defense. 15 yards from the end of the play here, 1st down Oakland.
What was wrong with this as we look at it again? Gordon in the coverage, he makes the contact right there. You can't touch him beyond the 5-yard mark. He gets the flag. He had to know that he was guilty of the interference.
And for the 2nd week in a row, we see a defensive back commit a foul and then really hurt his team with a 2nd foul. It happened to Steve Israel last week in the San Francisco Green Bay game. This is Williams going next to nowhere, except taking time off the clock with 5.5 to play. 2nd and 10.
And on the stop, Junior Seau.
Mike White, it's funny, with a 1-4 start. The rumor mill working overtime about Mike and his future. And right now on the verge of getting back to the 500 mark. And very much back into playoff contention. 2nd and 9 at the 35.
Hostetler, incomplete.
And
that will be intentional grounding, I'm assuming.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got away with one before, but not this time.
He sure did. He should have been called in the 1st quarter.
Haas is going to argue that he is expecting a receiver to break back out. It's not going to float here, though.
You are not allowed to ground the ball unless you have moved outside of your offensive tackles.
Intentional grounding, 15 offense, 10 yards, loss of down, 3rd down.
Jeff Hostetler right in the center of the pocket. You have to throw it close to someone.
Good coverage by the Chargers. Haas had a lot of time.
And it makes it 3rd down, 20 from the 45. 4:54 left. A little dump off to Harvey Williams. Tries to get into field goal range. Tackled at the 33-yard line. 4th down and 7. And if they're thinking about a field goal, it's from 50 yards away.
Cole Ford's best thus far this year, 38 yards.
Well, for the moment, he starts onto the field. And it comes off. And here's Gossett
to punt it.
Fourth down for the Raiders.
Again, the risk you run, if you miss the field goal, the Chargers take over at the 40-yard line. So it'll be Gossett. It's one of those situations where they'll take the delay a game, and if San Diego wants to give him another 5 yards or push him 5 further back, it barely matters. Chargers decline the penalty,
which most teams, always do in this situation. It's kind of a silly exercise. You let the clock run out, hoping that you get 5. The defense isn't going to give you the 5, and the ball stays right where it is.
So like walking a batter. Yep. You got to go through the process. Gossett sends one nearly vertical. It bounces inside the 20, and it is a loose football.
The Raiders are certainly arguing that it touched someone from San Diego.
Well, Gossett thinks that Oakland has it. And they do. Could be a bit of an argument as to whether or not he was given an area to handle that football. Well, here's Gordon.
Nobody touched him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a muff all the way.
Good discipline on part of the special teams of the Raiders not to crowd him.
And it's Dan Turk who is at the bottom of the pile for the Raiders. And Rusty Tillman, the very happy special teams coach. The big smile on Turk's face as Oakland has it at the 19-yard line. With 3:53, they're already in field goal range, and again, San Diego can only stop the clock once. Plus once more at the 2-minute warning as Harvey Williams swings to the outside and stays in bounds, and a flag comes in at the end of this play, which ends at the 14-yard line.
Kevin Ross on the hit there. And a heads-up move by Williams to stay in bounds to keep that clock moving.
Penalty against Oakland.
How many times you said that tonight?
Any night.
I believe they were in double digits before this one.
Illegal block in the back above the waist. Number 81 of the offensive team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
Tim Brown.
Let's look at the very left side of our screen. There's Tim Brown right there against Rodney Harrison. He was high, so that's an illegal block in the back. If it was down low, it would have been a clip. I think that's number 10 or number 11 on the Raiders this evening.
And it moves the ball back to the 24-yard line. 10 yards from the spot of the foul, and it's first down and 14. Raiders have been penalized now 11 times for 93 yards. Harvey Williams to the 22-yard line, tackled there by Junior Seau.
And again, we've got a confrontation here. A lot of misspent energy in this ball game. Involved in pushing and shoving and talking and jabbing and poking and
really kind of ugly.
Probing.
There's a lot of probing.
Second down and 13 at the 23-yard line. A little more than 3 minutes to go in the fourth. Harvey Williams takes it inside the 20. He's tackled at the 18-yard line. Marco Coleman with the stop. And so right now, if they don't gain another yard, you'd be looking at about a 35-yard field goal attempt. It'll be 3rd and 9. More yapping going on.
Marco Coleman. Well, whatever he said, it certainly caught Harvey's attention on his way back to the Raider huddle.
Third and 9. And Williams to the 16-yard line. And there's Coleman with a tackle here. And on 4th down with 2:15 remaining, the Chargers,
Harvey and Marco Coleman, are going at it again.
Chargers take a timeout, their final timeout.
Whenever it comes to having a conversation on the football field, Harvey Williams has the one thing going for him that normally ends most of those conversations, and it's look at the scoreboard. And right now the Raiders up by 6 late in this ball game.
And trying to go up by 9. Now Cole Ford had one removed from the scoreboard a few minutes ago because of a penalty. This one will be from about 34 yards away.
Cole Ford. That should be starring in a movie or something instead of playing football.
Sounds like a kicker, though.
Cole Ford.
Certainly not a linebacker.
Cole Trickle. That's Tom Cruise in a movie, wasn't he? Cole Trickle in that Days of Thunder.
When's our movie coming out?
When's our movie coming?
You'll hear about it.
As soon as somebody...
What's the name of our movie?
Jerry Maguire.
34-yard attempt coming up for Cole Ford, and the kick is good. Just good inside the left upright. With 2:11 to play in the 4th quarter, it's now a 9-point lead. So the Chargers will be forced to score twice, and they have no timeouts, and the only time the clock will stop is at the 2-minute warning. Good effort by Salisbury tonight, filling in for the injured Stan Humphries.
He could have been helped along the way, Frank. You mentioned a couple times that there were some drop passes and some mistakes by San Diego. The kind of mistakes that you're really not allowed to make when you lose your starting quarterback. Look at that rating there by Salisbury tonight, 111.3.
Well, Seau expressing the frustration so evident right now in the Chargers, who are forced into a pretty difficult position now with a loss tonight. Denver on top of this division, and then you've got Kansas City at 5-2, so it's probably top to bottom the toughest of the divisions. And only one team, of course, guaranteed a spot in the playoffs, and then you're looking for wild card positions, and they'd be 4-3. The Raiders would be 4-4. And the immediate future of Stan Humphries a question mark as Ford sends one into the end zone for the touchback. Andre Coleman downs it there, and the Chargers will begin at the 20-yard line.
The Raiders, too, they have Denver at home. They have Kansas City at home, and good for us because we have both of those games.
And we talked about this series, the Raiders and the Chargers going back to 1960. It's a situation where some wild games through the years. We talked about the Holy Roller, the Dave Casper fumble into the end zone, and an Oakland-San Diego game in the late 70s, forcing changes in the rules. Interesting to note that the visiting team has won 8 of the last 11 of these meetings, and we're on our way to 9 out of 12. A little swing pass to Terrell Fletcher. Crowd boos the play call, and the clock stops at the 2-minute warning. That much time left in San Diego, where the Raiders have come in and have a 9-point lead. The Oakland Raiders already extending congratulations to one another with 1 minute and 59 seconds remaining. And we can tell you that you can check out the NFL's new internet site for up-to-the-minute score, stats, and news from around the league. It's all there on NFL.com.
Well, there's nothing quite like crawling out of a hole, and that's certainly where the Raiders put themselves at the beginning of this season. And now with 3 consecutive wins, they have every right to be feeling pretty good about themselves.
They lost, what, 4 of their first 5? They lost their last 6 games of last season. And to the team at the beginning of last year and again at the beginning of this year, a lot of people thought would wind up in New Orleans.
Right, and now if they end up with the win here, they will have, in back-to-back weeks, beat some pretty good football teams. San Diego is certainly one of those teams. The Detroit Lions, a good football team.
Yeah, they had lost 10 of 11.
Right.
And now on their way to win number 3 in a row. And we got a fan on the field, and the play is whistled dead.
Oh, good tackle, too.
So a guy came running out onto the field just before the snap. No play.
About as stupid as you can get, really.
Yeah. Well, we can tell you that Monday Night Football, as always, produced by the fabulous Ken Wolf in his 11th season, as Craig Janoff wraps up his 9th in the director's chair. Joey Chavo, our technical director through the decades. Ben Harvey, our associate producer. 2nd down and 17 from the 13-yard line as the pass is caught by Fletcher. And he'll run out of bounds, but only a short pickup, and it will be 3rd and long. Jaime Bravo, our associate director. Bob Simon, Dennis Zabo, and Jim Licata, making sure the sights and sounds come out, along with Victor Vitarelli and Chris Pfeiffer, our assistants to the producer. And Steve Hurt, as always, providing mountains of information, all relevant. 3rd down and 13. Fletcher makes the catch underneath. And up to the 24-yard line, it will be 4th down and 6. Kim Bauer in the booth with us, along with George Hill, our statistician. Malibu Kelly Hayes wrapping up his 11th season with us.
Kim working her way into the broadcast.
Yes. It's 4th down and 7 now from the 23. As Salisbury throws, the catch is made, and they're able to move the sticks as May makes the catch. Deans May, and it's a 1st down up at the 32-yard line. San Diego without a timeout. And Salisbury has to spike it to stop the clock with 1 minute and 9 seconds remaining. Well, the Raiders with a week off, and we'll see them 2 weeks from tonight against the Denver Broncos. Meanwhile, the Chargers have to go to Seattle and then another road game at Indianapolis. San Diego with the fewest rushing yards in their last 50 games, or more than 3 years, from the 32-yard line. That is intercepted by Terry McDaniel. And that will write an official finish to the game as he gets tackled at the 39-yard line. And Mike White, a guy very much on the hot seat 3 weeks ago, finds himself now as the coach of a team with a mark of 4-4. And we go back to the beginning when we talked about critical games in mid-year for certain teams, and that game tonight fit that bill for the Oakland Raiders, and they have come out with an A performance.
Oh, and I think that's very apparent when you look at the face of Mike White. What a huge jump start for his ball club now to be 4-4 and heading into a bye week. As you look at the status of the AFC West at this stage of the ball game, that's the best the Raiders could have hoped for.
Well, they will have fought through a lot of adversity. Talked about losing 10 of 11 games in a row, and all the rumblings and rumors flying around about the head coach, not to mention the quarterback situation. And now this is a team you could say is on a pretty good roll.
One of the biggest plays of the game provided by Chester McLaughlin.
That's about as happy as I've ever seen a coach in midseason, but it was that important of a game for the Oakland Raiders tonight.
Well, when you're 1-4, things get a little tight. There's not a lot of fun in the game when you're 1-4, and when you fought and crawled your way back to 4-4, that's one heck of a mountain you climbed.
Well, Bobby Ross's team has a little mountain to climb right now as they have just dropped their second in a row and head to Seattle this Sunday. Mike White has a bye week, and we'll see the Raiders 2 weeks from tonight against the Denver Broncos in Oakland. So Jeff Hostetler, hearty and healthy and leading his team to a win tonight by a score of 23-14. And in fact, tonight, all 37 points were officially scored in the red zone. If this score matches the number under your Coca-Cola bottle cap or can tab, then you could be a winner. Send to the address showing on your screen. So that's the story from Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, where the Raiders have defeated the Chargers. Final score 23-14. Until next Monday night, from Minnesota, Al Michaels with Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, and Lynn Swan saying good night from San Diego.